guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome to HP to XP. I am Chris, the Dungeon Master for our Adventures in Umbranthal campaign. Before we get started this evening, I have a couple of announcements. First, if you have a doodle or drawing of our Umber Buds and their misadventures that you'd like to share with us, you can post it to Twitter or Instagram and tag at HP to XP, or you can post it in our Discord server in our art channel. Sign it with a social media tag so people know who created it. We are starting to showcase art at our break, so we may reach out and ask permission to share yours. Second, if you missed it, this past Monday we had our second Keeps and Conversations. It's going to be an opportunity for us to hang out as a team, as a cast, to chat with you and to take questions and just kind of interact with the community a little bit. So please join us Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern here on Twitch. We'd love to hang out with you for that. Remember, if you miss any of the campaign stream live, you can check out the VODs on YouTube. They go up every Friday. And on Wednesdays, we post original content specifically based on world building, character creation, role play, things like that. Please check it out and subscribe so that you get notified when we drop new content. And please use the links in chat and our descriptions to connect with us on our Discord server via social media and to visit our website. We would really love to have you be part of the conversation as well as the community. But now, the adventure begins. Welcome to Umbranthal.
Journey to Umbranthal is produced for mature audiences. The topics and roleplay may be challenging, including instances of violence, power, and race. Our chat and comment sections are a place to respectfully engage with these topics and offer us your feedback.
Having taken Rice and Inara prisoner, the drow marched through the night. They chose to rest inside the mouth of a cave, which promised access to Isterlin. As captives, Inara and Rice were made to kneel on the sharp shale of the cave floor and kept awake by their captors. After some hours, Rice was interrogated and Inara forced to watch her brother's torture. Meanwhile, the remainder of the party, waking from a long rest to the cold of a mountain morning, they set off following the tracks of the drow. Moving through the mountains, they came upon a crystal blue lake and heard the sound of singing. Maple was charmed by a harpy and awestruck while her friends fought the beast. Quick thinking killed one of the monstrosities and drove another off in fear. The party set off again, hoping to reach Rice and Inara before they disappeared into the depths of the Underdark, only to find themselves avoiding an ambush by two clumsy ogres. Electing discretion over combat, the party chose to use their speed to escape, avoiding a potentially difficult battle. Following the tracks and eventually finding Bubo to guide them the remaining distance, Cloud, Aziris, Fen, and Maple approached the cave where the drow party had rested. A surprise rescue was sprung and combat ensued. Fen, Inara, Maple, and Cloud all were hurt. Maple, with Rice's encouragement, delivered a decapitating blow to the drow lieutenant. With the battle all but lost, the drow cleric delivered a knockout blow to Inara before fleeing deeper into the caves with the last remaining drow warrior at her side. Maple, still filled with rage, set about decapitating the dead to send a message and reduce the chances of them being followed. Cloud used their divine presence to bring Inara back from the edge of death. Then, at Rice's insistence, they set out, moving through the night to put as much distance as possible between themselves and the cave mouth. Walking through the night, weary, bloodied, and exhausted, the party found a ditch to camp in, planning to rest through the day and move at night. So, when we left off, Maple, you were going to be taking the first watch. As the sun rises, you get a better look at the area. The ditch that you all have chosen to make camp in runs generally from the northwest to the southeast through a field planted with very low growing crops. Off in the distance, about a half a mile or so, you can just see the bodies and heads of farmers beginning to work the fields. Is there anything that you need to do on your watch?
I don't think so. Maple is just taking some time to reflect on what she's done in the last 24 hours. She's being quiet for once.
Okay, easily done. So your watch passes without any incident or problem, and you turn it over to Aziris. Aziris, is there anything that you need to do on your watch?
Nothing he needs to do. He is also going to be spending that time sitting there reflecting on stuff. Hasn't had a lot of time to himself to process some shit, so he's gonna try and process some shit while he sits here.
Okay, give me a perception roll.
Cool, gladly. Maybe. There we go. 15.
Okay, you hear coming closer and closer a series of voices. Maybe 3 or 4, you're not exactly sure. They sound younger.
Lovely. And you said we're pretty close to some fields, right?
Yes. Yeah, the ditch you're in is right in the middle of a bunch of fields.
Right in the middle. Cool. Love it. And how close do they sound?
They sound relatively close. You could make an investigation check if you want to try and either look or get a better sense.
Yeah. Try and probably not look, since we are technically trying to hide in the middle of the day, in the middle of a field. But he is going to try and at least listen.
Okay. What'd you get?
22.
All right. So you can hear 4 voices. 3 of them sound young, child age. One sounds a little bit older, but definitely not an adult voice, more of an older adolescent, you might suspect. They're running around playing. The elder is trying to kind of get them all continuing to work, as opposed to fucking off and picking weeds the way children like to do.
Cool. Does it seem like they are going to be working in the area we are directly in the middle of?
Absolutely.
That's cool. Don't mind me as I just glance at... Cool. If they're just... I think for now he is just going to listen and wait and hope that they don't bother them. But if they do sound like they are getting significantly closer, then I think he will probably at least wake somebody up.
Okay. Give me a stealth roll.
Oh, good. 19?
Okay, so right now it does seem like they have yet to notice you.
Seems great.
Yeah.
At
So
this
you're
point, how far into Anara's trance are we?
you would be you'd probably be about 3 hours right now because Maple took first watch and Aziris is into the first part of his watch. So
And Bubo's still circling.
sure, not a problem. Okay, so you hear now these voices moving sort of parallel to the ditch on the east side of the ditch. The ditch running from northwest to southeast. They are on the east side of the ditch, and you can hear the occasional call of an adult in the distance, kind of imploring these children to continue to work. gonna hang out?
Well, interacting with children is his strong suit. So he's going to wake somebody up.
Okay.
He glances around at the party, giving each of them a couple of moments as he looks at them. And then he goes to gently wake up Maple, I think.
Okay. Are you trying to be stealthy while you wake her up?
Yes.
Give me a stealth roll.
Cool. Good. 1.
Okay. So you go to wake Maple up, and you hear a voice kind of peek up, going, "What's that?" And a head pops over the edge of the ditch. "Look, rat catches! What you doing there?" And you see a small elven boy.
He will probably like halfway through a step on his way to wake somebody up. He just freezes and kind of like looks up and,
"Hi! What you doing sleeping in a field?"
we're traveling, and this looked awfully comfortable.
"It's a ditch."
It sure
"Hey,
is.
come look!" And you see 2 more little heads pop over the top of the ditch. What are you doing here? Why would you sleep in the ditch? What's wrong with you people?"
God, does this wake anybody else up, or is Azirus the only one stuck with the children?
I would imagine people are waking up at this point, but Cloud may still be asleep. I don't know, but these kids are not attempting to be quiet, and you all are, running for your lives. So I would imagine there is some alertness.
I would imagine.
Bob will just open an eye and be like, "What is this? This is terrible. Someone deal with this," and go back to bed.
How you youngins doing? As Finn like groggily gets up and like assesses the situation, kind of looking around and thinking.
Azirus just holds his hands up.
What we're just we're just picking weeds. What are you doing in the ditch?
We were traveling all night and we were just so tired that my friends and us here are just trying to.
Cora, come look! And now the older child comes over and looks in the ditch.
Good.
"This isn't your ditch. What are you doing here?"
Rice sits up and fishes
good.
around in his pack, and he's gonna withdraw some coins and toss them at the feet of the oldest boy. He's gonna toss him 3 gold and say, "We just would like a nap, and if you could just very kindly leave us be."
Make a persuasion roll.
23.
The oldest one looks at you and sort of shushes the other 3. "You're not gonna cause any trouble, are you?"
Not with you if you take the gold and leave.
We're just here to get a quick nap. We're really tired. We won't interrupt y'all's work or anything. I understand how it is when you have to be out working in the fields all day.
She picks up the 3 gold and looks at it and looks at all of you. "There's 4 of us."
Well, I tell you what, here's another gold, and then that way each of y'all gets 1. And that's I know that's more than you're making working sometimes. So we really appreciate y'all just letting us take a little nap. We're not going to bother anybody.
All right, that's fair. I'll keep them away from you, and if you hear me start yelling at them that Dad's coming, it means some of the other folks are headed this way, so you may just want to do what you want with that.
Well, that's right, kind of you, we'll do that. We're not here to cause no trouble. We're just really tired.
Okay. And she kind of gathers the other three and starts pushing them back to work, and you hear one of the little voices, well, give me mine, and I'll give it to you when we get back. You'll lose it out here. And they go off and, as far as you can tell, go back to working without any trouble.
As soon as the children are out of earshot, Rice is going to look at Fen and say, "Did you just get strong-armed by a child?"
Well, I don't see any reason to strong-arm children. I don't know how it is in your society, apparently, but, I figure better to let them have a little extra spending money than us having to move right away.
Whatever. And Rice will go back to sleep.
Okay. All right.
Xeris was sweating the entire time.
Well, Xeris, we'll let you finish up with that watch. I'm just glad that you didn't scare him. Taking a look and at the party, it seemed like two drow, a gigantic barbarian, a tabaxi, and an orc, and then it's not often that I might seem the most normal one, but I'm glad this worked out all right.
Xeris just kind of chuckles nervously and just goes, me too. Yep. And he will continue his watch.
Okay. Aziris, you finish your watch without any further happenings. Fen, you were going to take the third watch?
Correct.
Okay. Aziris turns the watch over to you. You are well aware of the encounter, obviously. Is there anything that you need to do on your watch?
Not on my own. Finn is just thinking about what he just said and the reality that they're going to be trying to backtrack and move towards the Commonwealth, where pretty much all of us will be looked at with suspicion, and chuckling to himself a little bit like, well, at least they're loose to seeing Wood Elf refugees, but we'll see how this goes, as he starts talking to himself, because he's like, I don't think anybody else has been there. Maybe Maple, but she ain't even remember. So he's just kind of doing that, and then just trying to stay alert, having recalled what the oldest elf child or tween or teen had said, to hopefully that none of the adults are coming by.
Go ahead and give me a perception roll.
That's a 14.
As far as you can tell, none of the voices are getting significantly closer as the day has gone on and it's moved from sort of morning into afternoon. You have heard sort of the milling around of voices closer than when you would have gone to sleep, but they're still a good ways off, maybe 400 yards. They're not close by. You've heard them call the children in to have lunch at one point. You've heard the children's voices come back, but none of the adult voices with them.
Finn's just listening to make sure nobody's having nightmares or snoring loudly or, reliving the battle with the drow lieutenant, heads rolling.
Okay, everybody give me a PTSD check. No, just kidding.
To keep Maple from snoring loudly, that probably requires something over her face. Just telling you right now from last session.
Maple, you are remarkably well rested right now, and apparently the position that you're sleeping in is one that suits you, so your snoring is very quiet in comparison. So no, you guys are fine. You do not need to make another stealth roll. So Fen, your watch comes to a close without any more insult or trouble from anyone in the field. It is about
just Rice.
Yeah. And well, he's in the ditch, so it's fine. So it's about 2:00 as your watch would come to an end. What would you all like to do?
Rice is gonna check the pack and see what's in it that he got from the lieutenant, and just take inventory of everything.
Sure, make an investigation check.
8 hours.
Yes, so all of you can take a long rest now.
7.
Okay, you're really good at this. So, in going through the pack, what you find is really not a whole lot. There are 6 gold, 5 silver, and 23 copper. There is a badge, an amulet looking sort of medallion of some sort that is circular with almost what looks like individual cutouts where around the outside edge. You, Jake, would recognize this to be like a gear shape. For Rice, it just looks like a bunch of cutouts. There is an open hole in the center of it, but it definitely is well crafted. It's well made. It's made out of iron. It's not a precious material or anything like that, but it's definitely been nicely made, nicely maintained. It's well oiled. Beyond that, there's an extra like head wrap sort of garment, almost like a shemag, and that's about it.
Would Rice recognize the amulet belonging to a particular organization?
You can go ahead and make a history check.
Yeah, I'm dumping all of my stats into intelligence apparently because this is. I got a 19. I nat 20, but 19.
Okay.
-1.
All right, cool. So you would recognize this as an officer's pass, basically. It is the badge that is displayed by officers to gain access to the officers' messes and any of the spaces that the common soldiers are not allowed into.
Okay.
That's
Ben's
all.
going to take this opportunity as well. Now that everybody's up, he's going to pull out a pouch. Well, I know we haven't been together for a bit, but I wanted to give each of y'all share. It's 25 gold each from that greedy SOB back in Misa. I just want to make sure everybody gets some money because Lord knows we earned it, and maybe sometime we'll have an opportunity to repay that favor.
Yes, that guy was really, really big jerk. Thanks, Fen.
And as Fen is passing that out, Anara goes over to Maple and says, Maple, would you be willing to hand me that pouch that is tucked under the top layer in your pack?
Oh, yeah, sure, bud. You know, I actually don't look in this thing much. I'm mostly just worried about making sure that clothes things get from A to B, you know? And she'll go ahead and just hand it over. No questions asked.
And Anara takes the pouch and goes over and sits down and starts kind of counting through the number of rubies that she managed to gather from the mine.
So you have in this sack roughly a pound's worth of smallish rubies. They are not a full-size crafted gem. They are, each of them is about, again, for the purposes of you understanding it, about as round as a quarter and maybe about half to 3/4 of an inch thick each. They're not refined. They're in a much more raw state than you've ever seen. And again, you have about a pound of them.
Okay. Number-wise, about how much would that equate to? Give or take.
It's probably just about 600.
Ooh, nice.
Getting up, Cloud is going to, kind of like clean their fur as best as possible, but it's still like pretty like bloody and matted and kind of just like dried up. And then just kind of check themselves in the mirror, but like a lot more briefly than past days. And kind of like, just kind of look to the group as to wondering like, what are we doing today?
Cloud, you look rather good in red, I have to say. Fen, Do you have a route planned for us today, or are we?
Well, I figure we keep traveling east. Since we got our rest and it's 2 o'clock, I don't see why we can't push on through part of daylight because it seems like that would probably at least put some more distance between us. That said, when we get to Misa, I know we're uh, trying to avoid any more difficulties with some of your folk, but we also probably should try to avoid some of the difficulties that could come there. I still recall that conversation with that SOB, and sounded like he might even have some kind of dealings with the mayor and others. So my advice is let's keep going the way we came, and then when we get to Misa, we give it a wide berth, and then get into the Hob Rock. And once we're in the Hob Rock, I feel pretty good.
We are
Do we want to
ultimately
try
heading...
checking?
Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. I was like, we are ultimately heading south, right? Or wrong?
We're heading east and then eventually north into the Commonwealth.
Oh, okay.
If we're going to be near Misa, do we want to try checking in with that archaeologist again?
I don't think we should probably even go into town. I don't think we're going to be able to do business inside here, was my understanding, unless others change their mind.
The issue with that, Anara, is that we'd have to return for payment after the job, and then by then, word of us being in town would have reached. That fuckfaces. Yeah, he would have gathered enough mercenaries or whatever to wait for us. So it's generally not a good idea. We should not enter town.
Perhaps you can send like a letter or something.
Unfortunately, my message spell only goes for a certain distance. I could go into Misa not looking like myself.
If we rest near Misa, that could be possible.
Can Bupo carry a written message?
Actually, she can.
Well, maybe if you scribble something down, that might be something, and we can even do it on the way, so we're not waiting for a response, and we'll just keep moving. And if they do that, see if we get something back.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
I'm going to give my opinion about this once more. I think it's a terrible idea because knowing myself and knowing others like me, Anara here is rather nice compared to most true elves. So regardless of their situation as archaeologists, stems from the same location that we did, the same culture, they will try to fuck us over. I don't recommend it.
Well, I'd say let's head on then. Let's go ahead while the sun is up, and just keep moving on our way.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Really good.
Okay, so you guys are going to begin moving basically while it's still light out.
Yeah, you said it's like basically like 2-ish p.m.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. That makes
Okay.
sense.
Are you going to... How are you going to do that? What's your plan? Like, are you just popping out of the ditch and starting to walk east, or...
Do we still hear them doing their stuff?
Oh yeah, they're
afternoon?
not. Yeah, I mean they're still at work. The sun's up, so there are still farmers in the fields working. They are not close at hand, but they are definitely still there.
How far away is the road?
Oh, you would have to go past them, and you are probably a good mile from the main road that runs east to west.
Okay, I'd say
You basically had just come down out of sort of the worst of the foothills into just where you're starting to get into kind of the lowland area, where you would start actually having some place where people could plant.
Well, I say we just kind of quietly pick up camp and give those farmers a wide berth, because the more who see us, the more we can be found.
We are quite easy to identify.
Are we close to like if there's still a forest or anything? Is that closer than like a road? Would we be able to maybe?
You basically had just gotten out of sort of, again, that that foothill area out of the tree line down into the lowland area. So, I mean, if you were to turn around and head back north up the ditch a ways, you would probably only have 300 yards to go to get back into the woods.
It might be better to, for the time being, travel through the woods. Might be easier to not be seen, at least.
Let's just stand up like we totally meant to do it and just walk out.
I say let's head to the woods. I like the trees anyway.
Okay, that sounds fine for me.
Maybe you'll see some of your friends in there, Fen, right?
You never know.
Your extended pen pal club.
Well, you know, there's a lot of good things in the trees. Better than the caves from what I've seen.
You know, I think it'll just be nice to be able to see while we travel this time. I wasn't really much good when we were traveling before, so this feels pretty good to me. I'll go wherever everybody else wants to go. Just give me a couple minutes because and you see Maple seems to have spilled the contents of the bag in her clumsiness just from getting a single bag out for Anara. So she's like scooping everything probably less than quietly back into her bag, and she feels really bad about it.
Go ahead and give me a stealth roll, Maple.
I deserve this.
How
Oh,
dare
that's
you roleplay?
21. I don't know where that
You
came
you think you are making a tremendous amount of noise, but your friends looking at you are absolutely astonished that they are incapable of hearing anything from you. Everything
Maple?
is happening in complete silence for the first time ever.
Maple, I know you just said that you wanted to feel useful being in the light, but maybe being in the dark has helped you develop other abilities. Wow, that was something. You're getting really, I don't know.
Oh, I'm getting good at putting bags together? I mean, you know, Claude taught me a few things.
Maple, you're getting good at very many things. And
Thank you, bud.
as we start walking, Cloud will, if we're moving to that part, Cloud's going to take a moment to find Anara. So I just want to confer with DM first.
Yeah, if you guys are all getting up and moving, go ahead and
Trying to move stealthily, I hope.
get up and move. Give me a group stealth check.
I will cast guidance on Maple.
14 rice.
Okay.
18 Anara.
Okay.
Ooh, 22 for Cloud.
Okay.
Unnatural 20 for Maple.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
17 for Finn.
Okay. Aziris?
I got a 6.
Thank goodness it is a group check. You all managed to very quietly get up and make your way, seemingly nobody paying attention whatsoever. You don't hear any shouts or calls. Nobody seems to be paying you any mind, and you begin to pad your way up into the tree line.
As we start getting into the forest, Cloud will say to his ears, perhaps the hair is getting in front of your eyes and you seem to be tripping more than usual.
Finn puts his arm out. That's a tree. You don't want to walk into that.
I can see the tree, thank you.
Okay, sorry. Cloud will leave awkwardly. So, Anara, I have a question for you. You still have those rubies, right, that we got from the mine?
I do, actually.
I was wondering if perhaps you would be okay, I don't know, sharing, a small portion, 50 gold worth. I'm trying to figure out if I can get them, ground up into dust. But I don't even know who can do that.
Absolutely. As soon as we got to somewhere safe, I was actually going to portion them out for everyone.
Oh, well, that's really great. Yeah, if you know of anybody who can turn them into dust, I would really appreciate that. I have this idea, gift thing, and
Yeah, we could probably talk to a jeweler. I know they don't usually like to grind them down, but they can.
Okay. Cool. Also, you're very warm at night. It was very nice to, be next to you for the sleeping. If that's not too weird or awkward to say.
I was thinking the same thing about all of that fur. Felt very nice to snuggle next to.
Oh, I can't wait for it to be clean again. We can
Likewise.
continue walking.
Okay.
While we are walking, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Once we actually get walking and are done sneaking out of the way, Aziris is going to step next to Rice. And he is just going to say, Rice, why don't we walk and talk?
I'll think about it.
He
continues
laughs. He laughs a little bit and steps in front of Rice and looks down at him. I think you misunderstand. It was not a request. Walk with me.
Very assertive, Aziris. Very interesting. Is this your new look?
Come on.
Rice will join Aziris.
Cool. He is going to switch to Undercommon. And he's just going to start talking. You know, Rice, we all risked our lives to save you and your sister. We've only known each other maybe a week. Even though you have been nothing but condescending and cold to us for the most part.
I appreciate how quickly you're getting to the point of this blackmail conversation.
Blackmail?
Mm.
Huh. You know, were I your superior, I would have struck you for your mouth by now. But I haven't because I'm trying to be a better person.
Interesting thought. Would you like one of my children instead?
He just chuckles a little bit. You haven't even tried to show us any gratitude for what we've done. Not even a thank you. I would like you to be a better person, Rice. I think it's possible. You have a wonderful sister to look up to, and a group of friends somehow to support you. I think you need to do some self-reflection. It's what I've been doing for the past week or so. It's done me wonders. I think you could really use some time. But the first thing that I really need you to look at is how you value people. Deciding whether somebody's life is worth anything by the language they speak, by whether or not they can be any use to you. Those kobolds that you called vermin, the gnolls that you called mongrels, they were people too. And you condemn people up here of prejudice and cruelty, but you are really the one that has been showing prejudice and cruelty. When I left home, I was raised with people you would consider vermin and mongrels. This is the sort of behavior I expected from humans, elves, not from a fellow minority. You being cruel isn't going to fix or help any of the problems the world does have with people like us. You're just being unlikable, Rice. Take some time. Self-reflect. And at least pretend to be grateful that we saved your life. At least pretend to be grateful that we saved your sister's life.
Anara's kind of overheard all of this. And she's just quietly smiling to herself, knowing that he needs this.
Was that the whole speech?
Oh yes, unless you have more to say. I'd love to have a conversation. If you need to talk things out, I will gladly listen to you and I'll try and help out. I'm still very new at this, so I'm not very good, but I will gladly lend you an ear if you ever need one.
So, you and your child kidnapping gig. How long was that going on for? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, I've been doing it my whole life.
Your whole life?
Yes.
How old would you say that you are, Aziris?
27, I believe.
And how long have you been free of this influence on your life, kidnapping children and the like?
Just over a week.
Then shut the fuck up.
Rice. I've managed to change. I think you can too. He just smiles.
We'll talk about this later.
I'm sure we will.
Okay.
That's it.
Anybody else have anything else that they want to talk about while you are walking and moving? Okay.
I think I want to follow that.
All right. You you move for about 2 hours. Who's in front? Who's in back? So give me a front and back.
Cloud will be in front with Fen.
Okay. Who's in back?
Probably Maple.
Okay. All right. Cloud and Fen, go ahead and give me perception rolls.
I rolled a 12.
Okay.
18.
All right, Fen, you recognize sort of the way the landscape is changing a little bit and see at a distance a sort of a trodden down wagon path that's cutting from south to north.
Well, y'all, looks like there's an intersection up the head. Not like a road proper or anything, but some kind of trading caravan path or something up there. So just wanted to let y'all know as we're moving forward, keep your eyes open. It's moving north and south, so and we'll be continuing our way through. I believe we're still going to try to avoid roads, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Cloud will look to Anara. Can Bubo do see things from afar, up high? Is that like a thing?
She can see for a distance, and I can actually send her out for a ways and look through her eyes. And unfortunately, I can't see through my own at the time.
Oh, wow.
So if I have a guide, I can send Bubo out for a ways and see what's coming up ahead.
Sure. Well, I'm willing to guide you, so you don't trip.
Sure. And Nara grabs Cloud's arm, and her eyes go white, and all of a sudden she's seeing through Bubo.
Okay.
What do we see?
Where do you want Bubo to go?
Since we're heading south, I'm going to send her south.
You are heading east.
In that case, I'll send her east.
Okay. So heading east, she flies over the road. You see, as she sort of is banking and gliding on the winds, just to the north of where you would cross the road, there are a series of carts and a group of people.
Bubo's flying a little ways ahead, and looks like there's some carts with some people up ahead. Do we want to try to avoid them? Tap me if yes.
Didn't even talk about what we do. I'm assuming what you can't hear anymore.
Can't hear. can't see.
I'll just continue to guide you, not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
I'll just relay the info to Fen.
I think we should give everybody a wide berth. I mean, it sounds like we're just on the run. So anything that we can do to avoid until we get to an area where we're no longer having to. Poor Maple can't even see half the time we're traveling. So the better. Let's just try to give them a wide berth if possible.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to try and hook south then for some distance before crossing the wagon path?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. How far are you going to go?
Oh, let's see. How far away is the cart path now?
So we'll just say that you are just about at the cart path. From where you are now, you can see the people and the carts about 50 yards up the path from you. And you recognize this as being the same path that you took to get to the mine.
Yeah, let's I would say that let's head about 500 yards to the south and hook around and then try to stay in the woods as much as possible.
Well, if this is the path to the mine, that means the town is pretty close by. So we should probably be careful.
And Anara's still holding on to Cloud, still looking through Bobo's eyes.
It was about an hour's walk from town to the mine. So, okay, so
If
go
we're
ahead.
starting to pick up pace, Cloud will like pat Anara's hand and like try to signal that like it's okay to come back. Yeah.
Anara comes back.
Okay.
Okay. Are
Thanks
all
for
of
guiding me,
you
Cloud.
Are all of you just going to cross the road en masse? Are you going to try and move across the road stealthily?
Stealthily.
Stealthily.
I think stealthily is going to be the best option for this group. Can at least
Okay.
attempt.
As
Guidance,
as you put a decent amount of distance between you and where those carts were, we'll do this again as just a group stealth check, as opposed to individuals. So, give me a stealth roll. Let me know what you get.
Anybody want to guide Aziris?
I do. Add a d4.
Thanks.
Anara got a 24.
Okay.
17 for Finn.
Rice 11.
Okay.
17 Maple.
Okay.
What? 6 for me.
Okay.
16 plus a d4, that is taking forever. 17.
Okay. It seems that you do not raise any attention, timing your movements, paying attention, one crossing the road at a time, sort of looking up ahead, making sure that from the angle nobody is turning to pay attention and waiting for that movement. You feel like you have gotten across the road unimpeded and continue walking.
As soon as we're a ways from the road, Rice is going to approach Maple and pull out the amulet he just acquired from the lieutenant and show it to her and say, I have a gift for you, Maple.
Maple is absolutely beside herself. She was ready in the back with both hands on her great axe, just trying to defend the party from behind. She drops it. It almost hits her foot. Oh my gosh.
You might
Rice?
want to hold on to that. You might want
Okay,
to,
I mean,
yeah, we're
I'll
still
pick it up
walking.
in a minute. But she holds up both of her hands. Okay, I haven't been given a gift in so long, but I'm sorry if my hands are a little bit shaky. Just go ahead, put it up whenever you feel like doing it. Okay, I'm ready. And she closes her eyes and like does one of those, she's ready.
Rice hands her the amulet and says, I was told I should be nicer and show my appreciation. So I'd like to show you a little custom that we true elves, adhere to a lot of the time. When we slay our enemies and we feel good about the bloodshed and the bloodlust and we celebrate, we take war trophies. This is your war trophy, Maple, for beheading that bitch.
Oh my gosh, bud, I did do a little bit of thinking about myself. The past day has been a little wild for me. A little bit beside myself, but this really brought me back down to where I need to be. This makes me feel really good, bud. You have no idea how much it means to me to get a gift from a fellow warrior. You really do a good job out there.
That's all wonderful. If you could refrain from saying nice things to me, I would appreciate that. It just brings down my mood. But as for the amulet itself, if you're ever feeling like you're not doing a good job, then you can just think about the time that I held your hand and then you chopped her head off.
Oh, does it do something fun, bud?
It does absolutely nothing.
Okay, I mean, I would consider making me smile with it doing something fun. So I would say yes. You could have just said yes. We'll move on though. I'll try to keep the compliments to a minimum. I apologize in advance, but I'm not going to be able to keep my mouth shut. I'm just telling you right now.
Just don't leave your axe.
Oh right, bud. And she'll pick it up and immediately resume the position behind the party. After you, I'll just keep following along, just doing my best back here.
All right, we never talked about this. And then Rice walks away.
Okay. So you continue to move. Are you going to take any breaks, or are you just continuing to move without rest?
I would think no breaks.
I think we're continuing to
By
move.
the fear of what retaliation might be upon us.
Okay.
Yes.
You move for about another hour. The sun is now starting to dip pretty low in the western sky. Under the canopy, the way it is starting to get rather dark.
Can we see the lights of Misa at all, or anything like that? Do we know how, or is it, or are we well clear of north of Misa then? I guess?
So the mine was about an hour north of Misa. You passed really just to the south of where that was. So you're essentially an hour north of Misa, give or take. And now you're also another hour further east from where you had crossed that road. You would have no reason to think. I guess give me a survival roll, and I will give you a better answer as to just how far you are.
Oh, that's a 7.
You think you are probably east. You know you're well north. You think you are probably east at this point of Misa. You're not entirely sure because you're not walking on the road, and, with the pace being a little slower moving through the woods and trying to be stealthy. But you would think, kind of based upon your remembering how you left Misa to get up to the mine, probably east of it by this point. You certainly don't see it at all from this vantage point.
Well, at least this starts to look familiar. I feel pretty good about keep going. I know only concern I have is Maple being able to see.
But I mean, Azira's held my hand once, and Race held my hand another time, and Claude held my hand another time. Fan, we've never held hands. What do you say? Would you be willing to do that for me this time?
I'm happy to hold your hand, Maple. I just if you want to come up front with me, I gotta admit I'm used to guiding folks back and forth like we're doing. Never had somebody ask me to hold their hand before though, so that's that. He blushes and then.
Okay.
Oh well, but I'm always looking for an excuse. Let's do it.
So
If it is perhaps possible, I know that it's risky, and I don't think that I should go into Misa because, unlike Anara, I cannot change the way I look. But Cloud's kind of like holding the religious tablets from the library. I did sort of like say I was gonna take these back, and I have like written down notes. So maybe somebody could I don't know, return them for me, perhaps.
You did pay money to rent it, so it's not too much of a loss on their end.
That
I
is
think it would be
true.
better to avoid going back at all costs.
At least for now.
Could I just say maybe if we ever all have opportunity to return them where it's not perilous, you can just make a contribution to the further study of deities for dummies, and so there'll be more versions. Maybe they can copy some more.
That's true. I could write some notes. That would be helpful for the next version. All right. You've safely talked me out of it. Let's steer clear of Misa.
If it makes you feel any better, Cloud, I think your crimes against humanity, stealing some tablets, are far lesser than what Aziris and I have done. If that makes you feel any better.
A little bit, but I am also a little hesitant to ask what you have all done, so...
Well, maybe later tonight, then Azirus can counsel you two on becoming a better person.
You know what,
Oh.
bud? I would say if you plan on giving it back, then technically it's not taking, you know?
All right, Cloud's just gonna nod and like put them back. Kind
We'll-
of confused.
We'll get you a new library card in the Commonwealth.
All right, so give me a marching order at this point, as it's now dark. Fen, you're up in front leading Maple. Just give me kind of like a first, second, and back tier.
Azirus will stay in the middle, as per usual.
Okay,
Anara will be in back.
okay. Rice, where would you like to be?
In the back.
Okay, Cloud?
You don't want to walk with Azirus, Rice?
I'll be like in the middle with Azirus, and
Okay.
I'll let Fen and Maple go up front.
Okay.
I guess they're holding hands now.
They are. So you all continue moving through the evening, getting darker and darker. You begin to hear the sound of more and more night creatures, small animals kind of scurrying through the underbrush here and there. The periodic howl of a wolf off in the distance, nothing close at hand. As you're moving, you occasionally hear a crash of something that, Fen, you'd be used to this kind of sound of larger animals like deer or other forest animals being spooked by the sound of movement and scattering off in the distance. I need Fen and Rice to give me perception checks.
While they're doing that, Chris, I would like to say that
Yes.
Maple, just for fun, because she can't see, cast Speak with Animals on herself.
Okay.
So she was just listening around to what all of those howls and things were, just because she has nothing better to do with her time. So you're welcome.
Okay. So with that in mind, Maple, give me a perception roll as well to hear what you might have overheard.
Finn rolled a 12.
Okay?
Rice 16.
Okay.
That'd be a 7 for Maple.
Okay.
7.
Okay. Maple, you don't hear anything that particularly resonates. You know, it's just little murmurs of voices, some very low, I should say some very quiet but kind of high pitched, others a little bit bassier. Nothing that resonates as being particularly interesting information. It's, stuff along the lines of, look over here, things like that. Rice, you look up and see this human-looking creature emerge from behind a tree and begin running directly at you. I need all of you to give me initiative rolls in 1 second.
Bravo. We don't know what it is. This
Maybe.
AI.
We'll see. Okay. Go ahead. Over 20.
I think a couple people is football. Not me.
Nope.
Nobody over 20. Okay.
That's where the cool kids hang out.
All right. 15 to 20.
19 Cloud.
17 for Azirus.
15 Anara.
Same with Maple.
Maple got a 15 as well. So Anara, you would be first. I guarantee you have a better dex. 14 to 10. Okay.
It's the last time I hold hands while we're.
Rice, what did you get?
9.
9 for Rice.
Mm-hmm.
What
Finn
did
has 8.
8 for Fen?
Aw,
All
sorry, bud.
right.
I
So
just
Distracted.
as you Rice, as you see this creature come towards you, it looks exactly like Mordir, but its skin has taken on this grayish color and its eyes seem to glow. Let me just finish getting everybody in order here.
Rice is just gonna say to the group, well, it's our old friend.
All right. So, Cloud, you see this large, well, not large, but a Mordir-sized beast coming towards your friends. What would you like to do?
And you said grayish skin?
Yes.
Okay. I don't like going first. The cleric is always supposed to go last. Cloud is going to take an action and just try to just looking at the way Morier is walking differently, or like
He's moving just fine. He's not like slouching or loping or anything like that, but he looks
odd.
Very odd.
Okay. Cloud is going to he died, didn't he?
As far as you know.
Cloud's gonna cast Turn Undead. Just take a guess.
Okay.
Looks like a zombie to Cloud. Looks like a dead corpse.
Okay, go for it.
So it's an action. Cloud's gonna take out their mirror and kind of just close their eyes and like pray to themselves quietly. And then undead within. Are we within 30 feet?
You are.
Yeah. Any undead within 30 feet make a wisdom saving throw, and if they fail, they have to. They're turned for 1 minute until they take damage. They must run away.
Okay, you cast your spell, and doesn't seem like anything happens. He's definitely not turning around.
Okay, well, then I'm going to back up with my movement.
Okay.
10 feet.
You're gonna go 10 feet back. All right.
You're like, seems real bad.
Easily
I'll
done.
turn.
All right, Aziris, you are now up. What would you like to do?
So, does this thing looks maybe undead? Or just weird?
Yeah, it looks maybe undead.
Okay.
Give me... Would you have any knowledge of this? It's entirely possible that you would. Go ahead and give me either an Arcana or a History check. Your pick.
Gladly. I got a whopping 12.
Okay, you recognize this is probably a Revenant.
Ah, good. The vengeful type.
Yeah. Yeah, you've
Lovely.
used these before.
Sounds about right. Cool. Well, in that case, he is going to also go back 10 feet, a little to the side of Cloud.
Okay.
He is going to tap his staff on the ground, and it starts to light up briefly with like violet lightning, it seems like, and it is going to lance out towards this dear sweet revenant.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast Witch Bolt.
Okay.
So that's gonna be a no. It was a nat 1, in case you were curious.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh.
So your witch bolt lancing out seems to just glance past, missing him entirely into the woods, and you see the shatter of trees and flame on a little bit of leaf.
Cool.
Anything
After
else?
he is going to politely let the group know that this it looks like we're dealing with a revenant. Be careful. That's it. I know that doesn't mean as much to anybody else, but that's what he says.
Okay, ending your turn. Anara, what would you like to do?
Anara is going to move about 30 feet in a northeast direction.
Okay. Okay, that'll put you, let me move you here, but that'll put you right about here.
Yeah, that'll be fine. And then she's going to use Fairy Fire.
Okay.
And that is a Dex 12 con save.
So,
yeah, it's a Dex
Dex
12,
save. With a 16, as far as you can tell, that energy from the fairy fire just sort of floats around the form and dissipates into nothingness without attaching to him.
Okay. That's all Anara does.
Okay, very good. Maple, you're up. What would you like to do?
Would it be an action for Maple to light a torch?
Yes.
Okay. How would Maple be able to see this thing after she lights the torch?
Yes.
Okay. Maple would like to light said torch.
Okay. Your torch is lit.
And then in the same hand that she will squeeze Fenn's hand, and say, "We better make like a goose and scoot here, bud." So she'll go ahead and, using that energy, go into a rage.
Okay.
After seeing this revenant, and go, "Well, call me a beaver, make me a house, bud. Damn." And she'll go ahead and race towards it using her movement, even though she has no weapons in hand.
Okay. You move close and come within melee range of the Revenant. That ends your turn.
Can Maple just drop her, what's it freaking, the fire. She drops
the torch
fire at her feet. Yes.
Okay. Yes, you can drop the torch as a free action.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That ends my turn.
All right, Rice, you're up. What would you like to do?
Rice is going to run up to the Revenant, and as he's running, take a swing of his longsword at the legs of the Revenant.
Okay, go for it.
Does a 23 hit?
A 23. As you swing in, you catch him right in the leg.
And as he connects, he's going to invoke some words, and his amulet is going to shine briefly, and there's radiant energy that pulses through the sword.
Okay.
For a divine smite. For an extra 9 damage.
How much damage total? I'm sorry.
7 plus 9, 16.
Okay.
And
right.
he will stand
Anything
his
else?
ground after that.
Okay, sounds good. Fen, you're up. 2 of your friends are in melee with a looking undead thing that Aziris has called a revenant that you've never heard of before.
On that point, Finn's favorite enemy is undead.
Yeah.
So as that, having heard a revenant, would I be able to use the ability he has to make a history check to see if I can learn about him?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's see. Or intelligence check, that's what it's called. So on the intelligence check, it's 6.
Okay. You go ahead.
So seeing that, just being like, Revenant, and Finn looks, and just this gleam comes over his eyes as he pulls out an arrow from his quiver and aims for it, just looking at it, saying, "That's not natural," and then unleashes, trying to hit it, moving to the side just slightly,
okay,
so that he can get a direct target and shoot at it with his bow.
Okay, go for it.
And that's a 14.
So that arrow comes out, lances its way towards the Revenant of Mordir, catching him in the shoulder and sinking in. He sort of growls at the pain of it when it happens. For how much damage?
6.
All right. All right. That ends your turn?
That ends the turn.
All right. Rice. Mordir, looking at you, I need you to give me a wisdom save.
17.
Okay, you see these flared eyes staring into your very soul, and you get just a little bit of a shake and a quiver, but nothing more happens. He is not going to use any more of his movement because he's been coming towards you. So that ends his turn. Top of the round, Cloud, you're up.
Cloud is going to move probably like 10 feet to the right.
Okay.
Just to put some space between Aziris and them in case of, I don't know, what's coming our way. And be
All
like,
right.
well, I don't really know exactly what to do in this situation. So Cloud's going to take a drop of holy water and kind of smush it between their paws and cast Bless. And I believe that Maple is within 30 feet, so Cloud will bless Maple, Rice, and Fen.
Okay.
So you can add a d4 to your attacks and saving throws.
Maple, Rice, and Fen. Okay. That ends your turn?
And then, yeah, I'll just be like, I don't like this. I don't know what it is, and I don't like it. And that's it.
Okay. Aziris, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
Question for the DM.
Yes.
For Witch Bolt, it says on a hit, the target takes blah 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 damage, and on each of your turns for the duration, you can use your action to deal more damage.
Yes.
Since I missed, does that mean I do not get that additional? I can just do it on.
Correct. You have to connect.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to double
Yeah.
check. Thank you. Okay. He's gonna attempt to cast it again.
Okay. Go for it.
Let's see. 20 to hit.
Okay, so now this time you've gotten a much better sense. That energy crackles around and connects and punches square into this walking fiend, for lack of a better term, doing how much damage?
A whopping 12 lightning damage.
Okay.
Very solid.
All right. Does that end your turn? You gonna move? You gonna stay there?
I think he is going to stay there.
All right. Anara, you are up. What would you like to do?
Anara is going to use 15 feet of her movement to get right up next to this ugly little remnant.
Okay.
And as she's moving, she's going to grab the hilt of her rapier and start drawing it and say a few words in Abyssal and cast Booming Blade.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack.
All right. Not that. Ignore that one. Rapier. There it is. So that is a 15 to hit.
Okay, so your rapier comes in and you stab into him, doing how much?
Since she gets sneak attack, that is a whopping 13 points.
Okay. Sounds good. And if he moves, he takes the thunder damage, correct?
Correct.
All right, very good. That ends your turn?
Yes.
Maple, you're up. What would you like to do?
All right, Maple, lovingly looking down the handle of her great axe at the amulet that Rice gave her that she used to adorn said great axe. Well, she is close enough to elbow Rice and give him a wink and go, "Hey, Rice, you know what goes good with ghost toast? Butter." And she'll go ahead, pulling her great axe back. She will attack recklessly for the advantage, and -5 to add 10 for her damage using Great Weapon Master.
Okay.
So that's gonna be 21 -5. So
But plus
16.
4.
Plus a d4, so you're
Plus
fine.
D4, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you take your swing with your axe and connect right into the side. You can see the flesh sort of split open, but there's no real blood that comes out. It just kind of oozes a little bit. Doing how much damage?
17.
Okay. Now we're getting to where I got to do math as I go. All right. That ends your turn?
Yes, sir.
All right. Rice, you're up. What would you like to do?
After Rice went low, he's going to bring around his shield to protect his front and come across with his longsword, slashing at the old Revenant.
Okay.
Does a 23 hit?
So you come up and you slash, connecting, drawing a large gaping line up the body for how much damage?
7.
Okay.
And he's going to move to be opposite of Anara on the other side of the Revenant, but otherwise stand his ground. And that's his turn.
Okay. And you said 7 for your damage?
Yes.
Okay. So just flanking.
Yes.
Okay. Easily done. Okay, Fen, you are up. What would you like to do?
Tim grabs another arrow from his quiver and just comes and aims, just like, why won't you just die? And releases. And that is a 22 to hit.
Okay, so that arrow comes out, connects almost right next to the other one, sinking deeply in, doing how much damage?
11.
Okay.
And that ends Finn's turn.
All right, very good. It is now the Revenant's turn. Rice, seeing you turn, he is going to make 2 attacks on you. He flails wildly with his fists and manages to miss both times and growls loudly. I'm really not happy about those rolls. All right, top of the round. Cloud, you're up.
Cloud's gonna move like 10 or 15 feet to the right diagonally, sort of on the other side of Fen.
Okay.
To get a good, but back maybe 1 square.
Sure.
And then let's see. I just want to make sure that I'm still within range. Actually. Oh yeah, I am. I have 120 feet. And Cloud will be like, kind of like taking their like mirror and sort of like kind of fixing their fur while the combat's going on, and be like, "You're all doing great. Just keep it up." And is going to swirl their paw overhead and cast Guiding Bolt.
Okay.
And that is, I believe, a ranged spell attack, so I make that. There we go. That is a 15 to hit.
Okay, so that energy lances out and slams straight into the head of Mordor, and he sort of racks back a little bit, doing how much damage?
Doing 11 points of radiant damage.
Okay.
And then the next attack against it, I believe, has advantage.
Okay.
Because he's like glowing.
All right, easily done. That ends your turn?
Yes.
Okay, Azuris, you're up, and you have advantage on the attack.
Yay! He's going to use his action to automatically deal 1d12 lightning damage to it.
All right.
So he points his staff towards it and whoop. That's right. I don't have to roll to attack. It just automatically does it. Points his staff towards the Revenant, and the lightning again just crashes down onto it for 7 damage this time.
Okay. All right. Are you going to move or are you staying there?
Staying there.
All right. Anara, you are up and you have advantage because you are flanking with Rice.
She is going to use Booming Blade again and do another attack against the
Sure.
It's between us with her
Okay.
rapier. That is a 16.
Okay, that rapier again pierces into the flesh, doing how much damage?
14 points of damage. on the
Nice.
Sneak attack.
Nice. All right, that ends your turn. You're gonna stay there.
Yeah, she's gonna stay there.
All right, Maple, you're up. What would you like to do?
Slightly disheartened by the lack of a laugh that Maple got from Rice. She will instantly, centering herself, her face falling into more of a scowl, almost matching Rice's face, will look him dead ass in his eyes and go, "You know what the first step to making toast is, though, don't you, bud? The cut of a blade." And she'll go ahead. Of course, that makes you laugh. And
I think that made Jake laugh. I don't know that Rice reacted.
That
but-
made me laugh.
yeah.
That didn't make Rice laugh. He's just like,
she'll once again take the -5 because she's flanking. She does
Sure.
not have to attack recklessly this time.
Yep.
That's gonna be. Oh, I'm still blessed.
You are
So
still blessed.
It's 18. I'm assuming I hit.
Okay,
last,
so yeah, that axe comes in again and just connects deeply. Go ahead. How much damage?
So, actually 17 again.
Okay. Very good. That ends your turn.
Yes, it does.
All right, Rice, you're up.
Rice is gonna lean back and then thrust with his longsword
Okay.
into the revenant.
All right.
Standard longsword attack, 18 to hit.
Okay, 18 hits. That longsword plunges in, doing how much damage?
6 damage.
Okay. He's looking rough. He's starting to stagger a little bit.
He'll stand his ground. That's it for him.
All right, Fen, you're up. What would you like to do?
Finn pulls another arrow from his quiver, just aims, looking right at its throat, says, "Yeah, and this one's for Elrond too," and attacks with the longbow.
Go for it.
All right, and that is a total of 29.
Yeah, sure. The arrow sinks in. 29 hits.
That's 11 damage.
Okay, 11 damage. You see him just sort of beginning to waver, but not quite down. What would you like to do?
That ends Finn's turn.
That ends Fen's turn. So the Revenant, staggering just a little bit, is going to go ahead and make one more set of fist attacks on you, Rice. One of them goes wide. The other comes in and lands square in your jaw. And he is going to do 11 points of bludgeoning damage. Oh, sorry, you're also the sworn target. Let me add the extra 46.
Ouch.
You're special.
Plus 12.
He's been waiting all week for this. Okay,
Plus
so
12.
28?
Yeah.
28, okay.
And that will end his turn. Cloud, you're up. You have just seen Rice get pummeled in the face.
Oof. Cloud will stop futzing with their fur and be like, "Oh, wait, I see that this is very dangerous." I guess not really know what to run up. I'll cast Sacred Flame.
Okay.
I'll run up maybe like 10 feet, so I'm kitty corner to Fen, just so I'm a lot closer. And be
Sure.
Like, "Are you okay, Rice? Because like I can help if you need it." And then we'll
I'm
cast.
not okay.
Sacred Flame, which is a dex save
Okay.
of 12.
All right. So completely oblivious to you, totally focused in on Rice, completely unawares that Sacred Flames crashes into Mordir, doing how much damage?
Okay. 4 points of radiant damage. And Cloud's fur is a little bit puffed now.
What happens? How does it go down?
Oh, it's over? Oh gosh, Cloud did not know that. I guess Cloud will just be like, "This is serious. Now I have to really start casting spells," and I guess just shoot white and blue light into his face.
Okay, so that white, That white and blue light connects, and you see the entire sort of skull outlined in this light. You can see your friends' faces as it connects. Rice looks rough. And with that, this creature just sort of lets out a low groan and drops to the ground.
Cirrus is going to approach the downed corpse.
Okay.
He's just looking down at it, shaking his head, muttering under his breath like, this is going to be annoying.
Nara's gonna bend down and start searching through the body, see if there's anything of value she can gather.
Sure, go ahead and
While
make
she's
it.
doing that, while she's doing that, she's gonna look up at Rice and say, "You know, shields work better than your face."
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Cloud will also run up and be like, I kind of like did a spell that I think is supposed to make zombies go away, but maybe it failed, or maybe it wasn't a zombie, but I've never seen anything like this. But this guy looks real weird and gross.
Chris, would it be safe to assume that I could explain? Great.
100%.
Cool.
And I rolled a 17 on the investigation.
17. You find nothing in its pockets. It has a little bit of just blood and mat all over it. You can see damage from where Carljan's attack had hit him previously, and then just all of this damage from you and your friends, but he doesn't have anything on him. Go ahead, Aziris.
In response to Cloud, he is just going to nod and say, yes, that doesn't quite work on these ones, unfortunately. Unfortunately, in our case now. The radiant attacks are good, though. They still do. They're still good.
Uh-huh. They sure are.
Maple, seeing how absolutely just beat up Rice is, still mid-rage with a little bit of revenant goo lining the edge of her axe. Will put one foot triumphantly on top of the revenant, and with one more like pleading look, just trying to get this goddamn man to laugh, go, but butter on toast. Butter on toast. Okay, Claude did the burning. Okay, it's a little bit of burnt toast, but what do you think? What do you think, bud? Okay, I'm making it happen for you. You told me not to give you anything else that was nice, so this is the best I got, okay? And
Cloud will pat Maple on the shoulder.
As Maple continues to ramble, and Cloud's touch calms her down, she will come out of her rage, but she is sweating profusely.
Finn just looks down at the corpse, sees the two arrows, debates getting them back, and then just turns and says, you can never get out the smell.
Instead of responding to Maple, Rice is just going to touch where he got punched in the jaw, and then his hand's going to glow with some energy, and he's going to cast Lay on Hands on his face.
Okay.
For
I don't
10
think it's going to
points.
fix anything.
Okay.
And Nara's going to look over at Maple and say, "Hey, Maple, would you do me a favor and take the head off of this thing to make sure he doesn't come back again?"
Well,
Oh,
here's the problem with that.
That's how it works, to take off the head?
Well, Maple will say, I'll do you one better, bud, and she will conveniently kick the fire that was at her feet at the Revenant, so hopefully it catches on fire.
Even better.
This, it's still going to follow us. Specifically, you, Rice, it seems. It'll just find a new body.
Oh.
It's
for
the
like
vengeful.
forever?
I believe for about a year. And then it gives up.
But at least we don't have to look at this face anymore.
Well, I guess that just adds to the long list of people who are going to be looking for Rice. So,
That is a running tally of everybody we've made enemies with in the last few weeks.
Aziris, do you... And question for Fen as well, both of you. Assume it was the jeweler who did this, right? It's a necromancer that did something like this. Just going to assume that the jeweler's still an asshole, and he probably doesn't mind using people in that way.
I definitely don't assume that he's had a change in personality. I don't think anybody has had one recently, but yeah, uh, if we ever make a list, he'd be up there on it.
Remind me to burn down his jewelry shop in a month or so.
Oh, we're definitely going back for him.
Definitely.
One
Later
day.
though, right? Later,
Yeah.
right?
We'll
When we're riding dragons,
Yeah.
we'll stop by and say, "Remember us, bitch,"
Yeah.
and burn his jewelry shop down.
Well,
That's my
right.
plan.
It's ambitious to be riding dragons, but yes, I would like to see that shop in the hands of an honest broker.
Are
Maple
you?
now?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I said
No.
Maple now out of her rage is looking around. Once again, I mean, is there a small revenant bonfire going on? Can they see?
His clothes have caught on fire. You
Okay.
occasionally hear the crack and sputter of flesh and fat beginning to cook a little bit. The smell is not particularly wonderful.
Okay.
That's
Imagine if you lit a week-long dead raccoon corpse on fire. That's about the smell.
Maple will wrinkle up her nose and just outstretch a hand for anybody who will take it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely ready to move on if everybody's ready to go. I don't know if I can take this much longer.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Mhm.
I will take Maple's hand.
Okay.
Okay.
Maple is enthused.
Thin sighs and relief.
You're welcome, Fen.
Okay. So you begin heading east once more. What is the marching order going to be now? Because obviously,
Middle.
yeah.
Anara's staying at the back.
Okay.
Finn will go first this
Okay.
time, both hands.
Okay.
Cloud and Maple will go near the back as well.
Okay.
Alright.
All right. So you continue moving along. You now, having sort of left the corpse behind, have continued into the woods. The quiet of the night is restored, and this part of the front range that you're getting into is becoming more dotted with cave mouths again. It's a little rockier and whatnot. As you continue, go ahead, Fen, give me a perception check.
That is an 8. Still distracted by my palm.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you are walking forward, you get maybe another 10 minutes ahead. Cloud, your nostrils are suddenly filled with the smell of shit and this sickly, sweet, putrefying odor. And as you look up, you see 3 creatures over top of a body, tearing it apart. They look up and see you and begin to growl. And that's where we're going to take our break.
Ah!
So we will see you all in about 10, 12 minutes. Freshen up your drinks, hit the necessaries, and we will be right back. And we are back. I want to take a second and thank all of you who have subscribed and cheered. Neckbone, thank you for the gift sub. The Scribe, thank you for the bits. We appreciate it so much. As a reminder, our cast are not engaged with chat during our game, but we appreciate all of our mods who are there chatting with everybody. If you do want to talk with the cast or become a part of the community generally, sign up for our Discord server. There are links down below. We chat after games throughout the week, and tune in on Mondays for Keeps and Conversations, where we are engaged with chat the entire time. So thank you all for the support and all of that. So with that, you, Cloud, have looked up to see these 3 beasts, for lack of a better term, pulling meat off of some sort of body lying on the ground, and they, seeing you, growl and begin hissing. And
Like cat hissing or different kind of hissing?
more of a guttural, beastly kind of hissing. It does not sound fun at all. So, everybody, give me an initiative roll.
As I notice them and point them out to everybody, I'll be like, something over there smells like poop, and it's probably very dangerous.
All right, over 20. You guys are doing awesome tonight. All right, 20 to 15.
Rice
Everybody.
18.
For
Ooh.
yeah,
Nice,
17
right?
for Anara.
Rice 18, Anara 17,
Maple also 18.
Maple 18. Anybody else over 15? 14 to 10.
11, Cloud.
Okay. Under 10.
8 for Xeris.
Ben's still thinking about his hand for some reason, and he rolled an 8.
Okay. All right.
Been in the same boat, bud. I understand completely.
All right. Not so bad. Not so bad. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. Let me just grab these numbers here real fast. All right, and where are these guys at? Oh. Well, that's not good for you. It's great for me. It's great for me that these guys did this well, but I believe Xeris is higher, but
Really? My dex is higher?
what is your dex?
+0.
I mean, I guess I have it right in front of me here. I could look. Oh, I don't have it in front of me. Fen, what's your dex?
17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fen's first.
Who thought that the wizard warlock has high dex?
I mean, you've been doing so good at all those stealth rolls.
You know, you got me there.
Anything's possible. I never know what you guys are going to come up with.
I feel like whoever had guidance, it's like somebody else goes off the edge.
Fen, I'm just going to put you in as a 9 to make it go more gooderly. Maple, it's dark and you can't really see too well right now, but Cloud has pointed you in the general direction of these 3 creatures that are gnashing and spitting. What would you like to do?
Okay. Unfortunately, I mean, Maple is going to light another torch. I know that
Sure.
takes an action, so
It's all right.
she'll
It's
go
fine by
ahead
me.
and very defeated because she's unsure of exactly how far away any of these things are. Her
Mhm.
depth perception probably isn't great. So she'll sit there and squeeze Cloud's hand and just, after being pointed in the right direction, she's just gonna run her 30 feet forward, I guess.
Okay.
And she will say under her breath, man, from one bad smell to another, this really stinks. And she'll go ahead and go into a rage, very upset and scared, but that fuels her rage. So,
Okay. So, you
that's it.
advance, you go into your rage. Rice, you're up. What would you like to do?
Rice is going to follow Maple and tap his shield against his chainmail and mutter some words under his breath and cast Shield of Faith on himself.
Okay.
And that's all he's going to do.
All right.
Stand there.
Anara, you're up. What would you like to do?
Nara is going to. Well, I can't do that one because I used up all my comments. She is going to use all 30 of her movement and get as close as she can.
Okay.
See how close is that?
All right. I'll get you here. I'll actually go ahead and move Maple and Rice up as well because they use their full movement. All right.
Okay.
There you are. What would you like to do?
That is all she's going to do. Or
Are-
actually, no. She's going to actually use 2 of her daggers and throw them.
Okay. Go for it.
So dagger number 1 is a 13.
Okay. And number 2?
Number 2 is...
Are you targeting the same one?
Huh?
Targeting one. Okay.
Yep, both targeting the same one. The second one is 21.
Okay, so with that, the daggers fly out of your hands, and the closest beast to you is struck once in each upper part of the body, kind of left and right of center, doing how much damage?
That is a total of 9 points of damage.
Okay. Okay. That ends your turn?
That is my turn.
Okay, so now one of these gnashing and spitting creatures begins to advance, seeing the damage that its fellow had taken from Inara. Inara, it is going to charge up to you and swipe at you with its claws. Does a 15 hit?
That just hits.
Okay, so you feel its claws just kind of sink down into your shoulder. Taking 7 points of damage as this sort of scrapes across you. And it is going to remain right there. The one that had taken damage, seeing all of you moving up, is going to advance on Rice. Rice, it is going to attempt to sink its teeth into you. And as it goes to bite, you manage to just pull back out of the way, and it's unable to connect. The last one is going to advance on Maple, and Maple, it is going to attempt to slash out with its claws, trying to strike you in the face. And it rolled a fucking nat 1, because nothing I roll tonight can be any good. So, as it goes to swing, you move out of the way, having dropped the torch at your feet and seeing, well, it goes wide, and it's going to stand right there. Cloud, it is your turn. All 3 of these beasts have advanced on one of your friends.
Oh boy. Cloud is like, this one I feel like it might be hard too. Cloud's gonna move like 15 feet to like diagonally to the left.
Okay.
So that they're kind of like sort of behind, Inara right there.
Yep.
And cast a Sacred Flame on the one that is attacking Rice, which is a dex save of 12.
Okay.
So they'll take their paws together and just extend it out for a white and blue light.
Okay, that white and blue light comes lancing out, and this thing being solely focused on attempting to take a bite out of Rice's still bloodied jaw, totally unaware, is connected with by that sacred flame, doing how much damage?
3 points of radiant damage.
Okay.
And then for my bonus action, I will cast Spiritual Weapon. So Cloud
Okay.
will pause in the air and kind of bat at an imaginary feather that does not exist.
Okay.
And materialize a stick with a string and a feather on it.
All right.
And that is a range of 60 feet. So I'm gonna
Easily
drop
done.
it right between the one that's fighting Inara and the one that's fighting Rice.
Okay.
And I will have it attack Rice's enemy.
Okay.
Alright. We'll see. I'll be like, don't miss to myself. And that's a 24 to hit. Oh, that's a nat 20. Hey!
Okay. So, yes,
Yay.
that obviously hits. How much damage does this very dainty little feather do as it whacks this thing right in the face.
Yeah, it's like a bluish white feather. It's got glitter on it. It's 7 points of force damage.
Okay.
I think it says that underneath it says force critical damage 1, so maybe it's 8 total. I don't know. It's either
Did you-
7 or 8. You decide.
Did you double roll?
Oh, I guess I would just double the damage for force damage. So if it's 7, it's actually 14.
Okay.
It's a very dangerous feather.
And now this sickly skinned, putrid and shit-smelling thing is covered in glitter.
Great.
Does that end your turn?
I'll just like uncomfortably growl and then end my turn.
All right, Fen, you are up. There is now one of these beasts covered in glitter. The others are as yet unglittered. What would you like to do?
Remembering Maple's rave axe and are any of the opponents within 5 feet of each other?
Yes, they're all within 5 feet of each other.
Okay, so Finn is going to move to his right about 20 feet to get a better aim.
Okay.
He pulls out an arrow and then whispers to it in Elven, saying, "Hunter's Mark be true," and is going to cast Hunter's Mark on the one that's attacking Maple.
Okay.
And then he's going to release his first attack with a bow against that.
These are also your favorite enemy.
Okay, so he's going to release okay, so I guess he's going to release a bow attack on on both the one that's attacking Maple and the one I think that's next to it 5 feet away that attacks Rice.
Okay, go for it.
And the first is 23 to hit the one attacking Maple.
Okay.
And the second one is a miss.
Okay, so the how bad of a roll was it?
It was a total of 8.
Okay.
It was a 1.
A nat 1? Nat 1?
Yes, it was a
okay,
nat 1.
Give me a d20 roll.
All right.
You're gonna shoot Rice, aren't you?
We can only hope.
Right?
A 10.
Okay, so while the second arrow does go wide, it does not do any damage to any of your companions. The one that you have fired at Maple, that arrow sinks in and actually manages to go all the way through its neck and is coming out the other side. So now as it turns its head, it has sort of this weather vane look going on with it. How much damage?
I did a total of 8 damage.
Okay.
And then, seeing this as a favored enemy, would I be able to do an intelligence roll to see if I can recall any information about it?
100%.
All right, let's see if it's a little bit better or if Finn's still distracted. That's a nat 20.
You absolutely recognize that these are ghouls.
And it just yells out, "Hey, more undead in here! These are them damn ghouls!" And that'll end Finn's turn.
Okay, Aziris, you are up, now alerted to the fact that your friends are facing ghouls.
Cool, we love to see it. I'll ask my other questions after the fight. He is going to remain where he is, and he is going to point over towards one of them, preferably the one in the center.
Okay.
Going to mutter under his breath. Shadows around him darken, and he is going to attempt to cast Frostbite on it. So I need a Constitution saving throw of 12.
Okay, so with a 16, that dark energy reaches out and just seems to miss connecting. I need you to give me a Wisdom saving throw.
Good. Nat 20.
Okay, so you feel that hand just start to touch your head, and somehow it can't go any further, and it retracts.
He's going to curse under his breath, and that is his turn.
Okay, Maple, you are up. The one that is directly in front of you currently has an arrow sticking out of its neck. What would you like to do?
Maple will look over her shoulder in Rice's direction, not Rice's direction, Fenn's direction. She can't probably see him, but she'll go, "Hey, bud, you think if I cut the head off of this one, we could use it to show us where we're going?" And she'll go ahead and just swing at this thing. But let me ask you this: can she squeeze between the two of them? So technically, like, or no? Can she, if she gets on the other side of it, would she technically be flanking with Rice because he's within?
You
5
would
feet?
you would have to get around to the middle one.
Okay.
Realistically.
Never mind then. That's okay.
Because they're kind of in a line.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just go ahead and
I'm pretty liberal with flanking, but that's kind of a bit much.
Maple will aim her great axe straight at this thing's neck.
Go for it.
That's a 13.
So, as you swing, you connect and feel your axe sink into its neck. For how much damage?
Well, she did not do anything unless we want to say I just do that every single time. I'm just gonna act with the rule of cool here. Oh, never mind. I probably don't need it. That's 14 even without anything extra.
Okay, so with that, as you sink in this thing, the head doesn't completely come off this time, but it sort of lopes to the side and the body falls to the ground. That ends your turn?
Can Maple go ahead now that this thing is down to move to the other side of the one Rice is
Absolutely.
attacking?
So you're
Thank
taking an advantage position with Rice, flanking position.
You betcha.
Okay.
Now I'm done.
Easily done. Rice, you are up. What would you like to do?
Bryce is gonna push aside the ghoul's arms and shove his sword into the ghoul, or attempt to.
Okay, go for it.
And he rolled a 9.
Okay, so the beast, as you go to slide your blade in, sort of deflects your hands out of the way. Did you roll with advantage?
I did.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, you are sort of pushed away, and your arms now have this sort of sticky, bloody, fecal matter all over them.
Is it
Bryce
too
is
late
gonna-
for me to...
Bryce is gonna blow him a kiss.
Okay. What were you gonna ask, Sarah?
It's too late for me to... I forgot I have a second thing with Great Weapon Master.
Yep.
And I downed that thing. It's
Yep.
too late. Huh?
Yeah, too late.
That's fine. I'll just...
That's an on your turn thing. All right, Anara, you are up. There is one that is currently making an attempt to claw at you. What would you like to do?
She's gonna say to both of the ghouls, "Go back to the privy you came from, you ghoulies." And she's gonna draw her rapier and do a swipe against the one that is going after Rice.
Okay. Go for it.
That is a 14.
Okay, so that just connects, doing how much damage?
With sneak attack, it is 11 points of damage.
All right, and now you see that one as well sort of collapses on itself and drops to the ground. Does that end your turn?
And she's going to use cunning action to move, to disengage and move 10 feet away.
Okay. What direction do you want to go?
Basically 2 spaces north of Cloud.
Okay. Easily done. That ends your turn. Maple, the ghoul that had just been in front of Anara, having Anara run off, sees you. It is going to make a claw attack at you for a natural 20.
Yeah, that's fun.
Ouch.
Thanks.
6 for 17 points of damage.
That was halved.
Oh no, That's the full
Okay.
damage. You're raging, so yes.
Jeez, what?
Yeah, no, it's not that good of a ghoul. Yeah. No, that was the full damage. So halved. Now you're gonna make me do math. 8.
Thank
Right?
Gee whiz there, bud. Quite the bite you got there.
Yeah.
You guys
Well, that was the claw. It was a good claw attack. All right, and he is going to stay right where he is. Cloud, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Seeing that there's only one ghoul left alive, Cloud will be like, this is so easy. I'm so good at this. I'm really, really getting so good at this. And they'll use their bonus action to take the feather toy hanging above Maple's head and just kind of spin it around her head, but try to hit the remaining ghoul with it.
Go for it.
If there's any luck there. That is a 7 to hit.
Okay, so the feather comes down, and again, you did this really dramatically. So there was this twirl and flare and glitter popping all over the place, and as it comes down, it just misses off to the side, failing to connect.
All right, fair enough. Cloud will hiss and be like, "Gosh darn it! The moment I start praising myself, this happens," and back up and just like 5 feet and cast Sacred Flame, which is a dex save of 12.
Go for it. With an 18, that energy reaches out, and just as that is happening, this thing is sort of moving, and the bolt goes wide. That end your turn.
I hiss and then end my turn.
All right, you hiss and end your turn. Fen, you're up. What would you like to do?
Finn, just seeing it flash out at Maple, just points his finger, pulls out another arrow, and just moves his hunter's mark. And just sitting there saying, all right, it's your turn now. And with that is going to release a shot.
Go for it.
That is a 10 to hit.
Okay, so your arrow, you're being very cautious to not hit either of your friends, and in that caution you manage to just not have your aim dead on, and that bolt goes flying off against the rocks and shatters.
I was too worried about hitting rice last time. All right, focus. And that ends Finn's turn.
All right, Aziris, you're up. What would you like to do?
Xeris is going to use his movement to get right up to the remaining ghoul,
Okay.
and he is going to lift his staff, which crackles with a little bit of electricity, but not nearly as much as with his last spell. And he is going to try and smack the ghoul with a shocking grasp.
Okay.
Let's see. I need to make an attack. I can read. Ha ha ha, 9 to hit.
Okay, so as you go to come down with that staff, it just sort of is in moving and turning more towards Maple, you manage to miss. At that, another creature comes out from the cave mouth, and
Wow.
Maple, it comes to the side of you using its full movement. I need you to give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh,
I feel like
wow.
the tables flipped, and now Chris is rolling really well. We're rolling.
Yeah,
really
what's
well.
that about? That's a 23.
Okay, so
Oh, maybe it's coming back.
so as this thing approaches, you can just smell just whatever vileness is coming off of it. But it is going to go ahead and make a claw attack against you. With a 12, it comes down and goes wide, ending its turn. You are up, Maple. What would you like to do?
Okay, Maple will not say a thing because now that this second really smelly thing is in the picture, she's afraid to open her mouth.
Okay.
So she'll go ahead, realizing she is now surrounded. She wants to try and down the thing that looks the worst. So she's gonna go ahead and take a big ol' swing at the neck of the one in front of her that is also going after Aziris.
Okay.
She will take the -5, hopefully, and she wants advantage too. She is attacking very recklessly.
Okay.
So it's gonna be to hit.
Okay, so that axe comes around and you just connect right with the midsection of this thing, sinking that axe deeply. Doing how much damage?
23.
Okay, and with that, the top half of this body just sort of slides off the bottom, the top half crashing to the ground and the bottom half tipping over backwards.
Okay, guess what I want to do this time? I'm actually going to use my bonus action to turn around and swing at this other one.
Go for it.
So, okay. I can do the same thing I just did, right? It's because they're just, it's an
That's a
action
feat.
Okay, so it's an 18 to hit.
Okay, so now that axe comes in and connects.
And that's only going to be 17 damage.
Okay.
Only.
Your axe comes in and connects and sinks in, and as you pull through, you just see this big gaping wound open up and ooze starts to come out of it, and the vileness of it is just hitting you right in the face.
Yeah.
That ends your turn?
That ends my turn. To be fair to you, that ugly ass thing has advantage on me now.
Good. Rice, you're up.
After Rice ducked under the wild battle axe swinging of Maple, gets the other side of that creature and is going to make a slashing attack with his longsword.
Okay. Go for it. You have advantage.
Yeah, it's a 13 to hit.
Okay, so you go to slash, and this thing just manages to pivot out of the way a little bit somehow.
Okay. It's Rice is going to stand there.
All right, Anara, you are up. Your brother and Maple are on either side of this new, some would say ghastly thing.
Anara is going to circle around behind it
Okay.
so that Maple and Rice are on either side.
Okay, yeah, you got enough
And
movement for that.
Yep, and then she is going to use her rapier and do a stabby.
All right, go for it.
That is a critical hit.
Whoop,
Critical
whoop.
nat 20 for a 25.
All right, so that blade plunges in, doing how much damage?
Let's see. I gotta calculate. Just for clarification, are we doubling the
Roll
damage?
twice.
Or we roll twice?
Roll
Okay,
twice, then add
so-
your modifiers.
Sounds good. So piercing is 11 plus 1, so that's 12 plus let's see, plus, and I get sneak attack once.
Once
So
per turn,
that's, yep. So it's 11, 12, 15. Yep. So 15 points of damage.
Okay. So that blade sinks in, and again, you just get this ooze coming out around the blade. All right. That ends your turn?
That ends my turn.
All right. Cloud, you're up.
All right. Cloud will be like, focus, and try to hit the remaining ghoul with the spiritual weapon.
Go for it.
I'll see if I'm successful. Rolled an 8.
Okay, so trying to be very attentive this time and also not hit any of your friends, you managed to bring it down just in front of it and hit one of the corpses on the ground.
No, like I'm trying to coach the feather, I yell at it. I will, for my action in frustration, cast a Sacred Flame, which is a dex saving throw.
Okay.
Of 12.
17, so that energy, again, being very careful to not injure your friends. You're trying to kind of thread a needle here. That energy just sort of slices between Maple and Anara and scatters off the rocks.
All right, trying not to look humiliated in any way, I'm going to move 20 feet to my right,
Okay.
and hope that a better angle will help me next time. And
All
I'll pass the
right.
turn.
All right, Fen, you're up.
Finn takes another arrow out of his quiver, studies this new foe intently. Is it something I could try to identify as a favored enemy?
Yes, absolutely.
That's a 4.
Okay, it's undead. You know it's undead.
And so with that, again, takes out an arrow, whispers in Elvish to it. This time, you're my mark. Moves his hunter mark to that and releases an arrow.
Okay.
Oh, and that's a crit. 20 for a total of 27.
Okay. So yes, a 27 is going to hit. How much damage?
And that's going to do a total of 11 damage.
Okay, so as this arrow flies true, Rice, you feel this thing as it just goes past the side of your head, just missing you, and it sinks all the way into the eye socket of the ghast, which lets out this kind of expulsion of air and drops to the ground, seemingly dead.
I just thought you needed a shave.
Rice turns around and looks to Fen. Are you mad at me?
Nah, I just thought you'd appreciate that.
All right. And we are out of combat. You have 3 ghouls and a ghast at your feet, as well as whatever they were dining on. What would you like to do?
Dear sweet DM, I have a question.
Yes.
Considering we ran into 3 types of undead within the past, hour?
Mm-hmm.
Is this something I should be concerned about? Is this something I'm familiar with?
I will let you give me a history check or an arcana check.
After the battle, Cloud is gonna go over to spiritual weapon and just kind of like magically like turn it over in the air and be like inspecting it, just like as if there had been some flaw in it and it needs to be fixing.
Function check.
Beautiful. 19 arcana check.
Okay, you have heard stories that there are demons that will recruit and use the undead to do their bidding and to serve as scouts, and that at times when there are these numbers of undead that are found together, they are actually being controlled and working under the direction of a demon.
Great. Looking down at the dead corpses, the dead undead, he is, after muttering to himself for a couple of moments, going to relay that information to the group.
Okay.
One of your old friends, then.
Possibly. Who knows?
Oh boy.
They came from that cave, right? I mean, should we... I know we hadn't had the best of luck in caves, but...
I don't think. Chris.
Yes.
The demons, not DMs, same thing. The demons in this story are, I'm assuming, stronger ones that we probably wouldn't be able to take. Just guessing.
Go ahead and give me another arcana or history check.
Gladly. 20.
Okay. You are very well aware that demons that would have the power and ability to enlist this sort of being in these numbers are quite powerful and quite dangerous. They are the kinds of things that you and the faithful have intentionally avoided as much as possible because they have they will give all of you a run for your money.
Great. He is going to just sigh and shake his head and just say, "No, I think we should move on."
Oh, you're not interested in being charitable again? Oh, that's great. So,
Or
Fen,
so popular.
I think
Let's,
we should
get out of
follow
here.
Osiris's advice and move away. This place is foul.
Yes. Also, that being said, no offense, Maple, but I don't want to hold hands for a while.
Maple kind of hears this. She is busy coming out of her rage, also staring intently at the cat toy.
Finn kind of comes up and just kind of kicks the corpse a little bit, and
Okay.
just not being very fond of the undead, and just kind of trying to get an idea if there was anything else on them.
Give me an investigation check.
Come on, one. My usual roll. Oh, an 18.
Okay, you don't spot any evidence that these things have anything particularly interesting on them. They're covered in blood and gore. But when you look at what they were eating, you see a distinctly elven creature, female, with a skin tone that is just slightly paler than Rice and Anara's.
Oh.
Well, it looks like they found a victim.
Maybe it's the proprietor.
Maybe we should keep moving.
What a small world.
Was there anything on the corpse of that they were chowing down on?
Sure. With an 18, you go through a sort of a side satchel pouch that she had slung over her shoulder. Inside of it are 2 vials, 2 bottles with a red liquid that you don't immediately recognize. There is a stone that is perfectly circular with a hole drilled right into the center in such a way that it almost looks like a key could fit into it. And there is 150 gold.
Was this one of the peoples from the Drow? And Cloud will look at Rice and Anara. I don't know how mangled the body is or how hard it would be to identify.
Is there any iconography or any gear that would be associated with Easterland?
There is a seal on the bag that you would recognize as being House Ustalin.
Well, it's no doubt the hunting parties are going to keep out this far. I think best we keep moving. What DM? What time is it?
At this point, it's about 3 a.m.
Okay.
You've been moving through the night. You've had a couple of scraps.
Yeah. Well, Fen, do you think we're anywhere within a couple hours of getting out of these mountains? I certainly don't like being around all these caves and these ghouls and all of that.
I think my best guess is that we're probably another day from like that little settlement we were being north of there. I think if we keep moving, hopefully before too long we'll be able to get out of it. Chris, I don't know if there's anything else.
Yeah, you would know at this point, kind of having been across this territory enough, I'm not even going to have you make a roll for it, that it had taken you just about a day and a half's travel to get from Seva to Misa. You, based upon time of day, passed by what you think would have been the vague area of Misa about 8 hours ago.
So
as we start walking and get to the traveling part, whenever that happens, Cloud will take the perfume that Maple gave them and be like, "Oh, here, Fen, this will help," and just spritz a couple on Fen's hands after he's been inspecting dead bodies.
Okay.
Finn is like, oh, and then what what is that? What is that
It's
smell?
supposed to. It
What,
makes you smell
Cloud? What does
better.
it smell like?
I don't know, Maple. What does the perfume smell like? I haven't used it. I don't think.
I don't know, DM.
Okay, so Fen,
Mabel
you
requested something that smelled fresh.
Okay.
I remember that.
so Fen, you now smell of the faintest hint of lilac and rose petals on top of shit.
Nice.
This is like the sweet scent of decay or something. I'm not sure. Well, I mean, I appreciate it. I know I probably need to wash, but now I feel like I'm just covering it up. So,
Well,
well,
now you can honestly say that your shit smells like roses.
well,
Sorry, I don't really know how this stuff works. I just thought it made it, go away.
I know that you, Cloud, are particularly cleanliness is important for you, and so I appreciate that. I don't try to intentionally be dirty. I just kind of earthy. But this is well, I guess thank you. And just like it kind of smelling himself and like smelling like shit, and then like smelling like the perfume and being like, I smell even worse now. Okay, and then starts walking on.
Cloud's gonna not embarrassedly just go to the back of the line.
Okay.
Anara's going to move to the front of the line
Okay.
to get Fen behind her.
Okay.
Mabel will sheepishly pick up her torch and look around kind of for direction, knowing it's only 3 a.m. and she will be plunged back into darkness without it.
Azir's kind of shrinks as you start looking around.
Rice will grab her.
Thanks, Ross.
Okay. So you all set off. Anara is currently in front with Fen behind. Everybody else is sort of trailing behind them. You move for another hour or so. Anybody going to take a break, short rest, anything like that? Or are you just going to continue moving?
Does anyone need a short rest?
Wouldn't hurt.
Hurt.
Don't need.
I'm good to keep going.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess it seems like I don't need a short rest, but I'm more than happy to take one, especially if y'all need one.
Unless we can find a pool of water or something to get this stench off of us, I think we should definitely keep moving.
Okay. So you continue to move. You move for another hour and a half. Anara, give me a perception check.
Okay. That is a 15.
You see maybe about 100 yards deeper into the woods the flicker of a campfire and some tents.
Okay. So, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but a little ways up ahead, there looks like a campfire in a campsite. What do you think we should do?
My initial thought is avoid it, but I'll listen to others' opinions.
At this point, I agree. I think we just need to keep pushing and avoid people until we know we're safe.
Agreed.
I wouldn't mind to catch my breath for a little bit and send Bubo over there just to take a look.
Oh, not a bad idea. And then Anara will sit down for a minute and do her thing.
Okay, give me a perception check through Bubo's eyes.
All right. Let's see. Bubo. Perception. Let's see.
DM intention here is to take a short
Take a
rest
short
and
rest.
set watch.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
So that is a 19.
Okay, so as Bubo sort of goes above the tree line and darts in and out a little bit, you can tell that these are goblins. There are probably a dozen or so that are immediately apparent, but based upon the number of tents, there are enough tents here for probably 40 or 50. This is a reasonable sized encampment, and there are around this campfire, the goblins that are there are mostly just dressed in pretty simple clothing. There's one or two that have spears in hand and are sort of paying attention to what's going on, looking away from the fire. A couple of them are holding infants, and they're just having a conversation. You can tell from body language that it's a fairly intense talk.
Relay all that information to everyone else. Come out of my trance, so I'm not seeing through Boobo anymore.
Okay.
With this number of goblins, I think we should definitely go quietly, but keep moving.
Aziris, are goblins? I also don't mean to pry, but this is like not great people that you're running away from. We're different from the people we're running away from for Rice and Anara. Do they employ goblins?
DM, did we employ goblins?
You certainly did. You would not have ever seen a encampment this size in anything that you did. Your groups all were very smaller hit and run raider type operations, not large encampments.
Cool. Well, to answer your question, yes, but I don't think that's what this is. I think they're just on their own.
Oh,
I
like
agree
they
that we
live
should
there.
avoid.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's like infants and babies, they're gonna have enough noise. Hopefully, we'll be able to get around. They won't even be paying or looking for us. I don't see any reason for us to get in some kind of kerfuffle with them.
Agreed. So
That's
shall we
rather-
keep moving?
It's
Oh,
rather
sorry.
disappointing. I have a friend named Gubo that might be there. It's a joke. Let's move.
Rice, you're not as funny as you were. I feel like maybe
Maple-
I'm losing it.
Maple is
I think
laughing.
he's tired.
All right.
I like that goober. I feel like I could get used to that.
So you resume moving. Are you going to try to give this a very wide berth or just sort of stealthily move past?
Both, I imagine, stealthily give a wide berth.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
I-
D. I'll be the.
Yeah, I'd say stealthily. And we're in wooded area now, right?
You are.
So which is my favorite terrain as
Yep.
well. So I think we would try to move stealthily, but yeah, not real close, not like creeping by.
All right, give me a group stealth check just to.
Oh boy, I'll cast guidance on Aziris.
Thanks.
Okay.
22 for Cloud.
Okay.
18 for Finn.
Okay.
6 for Rice.
Okay.
It's for Anara.
Okay.
13 for
Okay.
Aziris.
21. for
Oh.
me.
Okay.
I thought
The one time we want to not fight.
I thought y'all were supposed to see good in the dark.
Sneak, not always.
So you do manage to, having moved reasonably away from this, even though Rice and Anara seem to get caught up on a tree here or there or snap a twig, each time you stop and halt and look back towards the camp, doesn't seem like there's any increase in movement or anything like that, and you continue on, leaving this in
Quit tripping me, Maple.
the,
Shh, don't pull a goober now.
leaving this behind you. You continue walking, getting close to dawn, and you see quite a bit of weather starting to pull in, these very dark, puffy clouds raising up to an anvil-topped thunderhead in the distance, and you can begin to hear the roll of thunder. You see a huge bolt of lightning come down maybe a half a mile from you and strike a tree, just shattering it into a trillion pieces. Cloud, I need you to give me a wisdom save.
Bet I can't guidance myself.
Yeah, right as the lightning bolt is coming down, you're like, oh.
Wait, hold on. Let me just.
14.
Okay, so as this blend of rain and sleet begins to pour from the sky, and this thunder rolls across you, and you see this flash, you feel energized by all of this in the same way you did in that last thunderstorm that you were in. And you almost feel as if two paws have wrapped around your shoulders, and you have this incredible clarity of foresight come over you. You cannot be surprised for the next 8 hours.
Whoa. My fur's all puffed up, but like in a good way.
But is that from the lightning? Or did you get shocked?
No, I just, like, I don't know. It's just, it's cool and stuff.
Oh,
I just swing their paws around anxiously.
I just didn't know with Tabaxi. I mean, there was somebody I grew up with. The lightning came in there, and his hair stood up for like days. So I just wanted to make sure you were all right.
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally fine. This has happened before.
You also have advantage on all attacks, all saving throws, and all ability checks for the next 8 hours.
Ooh.
We'll fucking
Got that?
take it.
Yeah, okay. I take it.
Is
I
Cloud
like
looking
Go ahead.
staticky?
Cloud's in the back, like, guys, let's get in a fight. I just feel really good right now.
I think we should go into the caves.
I still don't think we should go into the caves, but I feel really awesome right now. I feel like I could take on like 100 ghouls, but maybe not 100, maybe like 5.
Maple will look at Cloud, assuming that they are excited, and go, "Oh, Bud, are you excited about the free bath too?"
What? There's a free bath?
Well, it's raining.
Oh. Maple, I thought we were talking about like some inn or some. Don't do that to me. Yeah, of course, sure, whatever. And Cloud will walk forward into the rain.
You are so excited that you can't even be upset about being wet right now.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you can be if you want to be, but...
No. I mean, at this point, the rain is the only bath I'm going to get likely for the next few days, so
Sure.
I'll take it.
Is it light enough for Maple to see?
It is getting to be dawn, and it is dark, but the sun is starting to come up behind the clouds in the darkness, so you're starting to get a little bit of light coming through the rain.
Okay. Maple's still being led by Rice then.
Okay. Are you going to continue walking into the storm?
Fen, we should probably find some shelter away
Shelter
from
would
the
be
caves,
great.
right?
Well, yeah, let's keep going, and I'm gonna look around to see if we find a spot. If nothing else, I might be able to build us a very, very, very primitive shelter, meaning like just some leaves over us and stuff. But it might protect a little bit. But that's a pretty violent storm.
Okay. You continue to walk for a little ways, and you come upon a series of cave openings again, and they do provide the opportunity for shelter should you choose to take them.
I'm scared of caves.
Anara's gonna move up to the nearest one and standing on the outside, just to the side, just so she can peer inside. She's gonna look and see if she sees anything inside.
Give me a perception roll or an investigation roll. Your call.
Same either way.
All right.
That would be a 13.
Okay, looking inside, you can see that this is about, it's a smallish opening. It goes back about 25 feet, and you can see a solid wall behind. It's empty, it's dry. There does not seem to be anything in there that you can spot. Seems relatively safe.
I think we're safe with this one. There's no backside to it, so we can hide in here, get out of the rain, and see everything that's coming at us. What do you say?
That sounds good to me.
Well, yeah, it's probably better than being out in the elements.
How wide is the opening of the cave?
It's about 6 feet across at the base, sort of domed at its very top. It's about 7 feet tall. So it's kind of a keyhole shape.
Okay. Once everybody gets inside the cave, Aziris is going to stay outside to ritually cast alarm.
Okay.
So he's going to drag the bottom of his staff along the ground as if he's like writing small runes, and just goes the whole like 10-11 minutes drawing a line across. And as soon as the spell finishes, any traces of what he left in the dirt just sort of vanish, and there's a slight shimmer as the magic takes place.
Okay.
And Anara's going to have Bubo perch on a branch at a tree that's relatively close, so that she can keep a look.
Okay.
And I should clarify, sorry. I've got, I think it can cover like 25 feet or something like that. So he is giving it a like large circle around the entrance. So it's not just covering the entrance, but
yeah,
the entrance and then around.
Got it. Not a problem. Easily done. Okay, so you are now inside this cave, which is dark. So Maple, you are not going to be able to see very well inside of here. But you are dry, you are out of the weather, you are currently being protected by an owl and an alarm spell. What would you like to do?
Osiris is fucking soaked. He was out in the rain for 10 minutes casting that. He's just...
You have a very wet orc.
Finn's gonna take out the 2 bottles or vials of the red liquid, and also the perfectly shaped stone with the hole in the middle that's kind of looks like an inset, and just be like, these were on the body of the drow. I don't know what these things are. Has anybody else recognized any of these type of things before?
I think maybe I could be useful for this. And Cloud can start to ritually cast detect magic. I believe it takes 10 minutes.
Okay. So you go ahead and ritually detect magic, and all 3 of these items appear magical. They all give off a magical glow.
Do I know what schools of magic?
You would if I had written it down. But give me a second and I can tell you.
Yeah. All right, before I did that, I went out in the rain for just a bit and got wet, so I took like a little mini bath.
April did the same
We'll
to
talk
get
while you figure it out.
While you're looking at that, Aziris is going to kind of like wringing the water from his hair. He's just going to say, I do know how to identify items, but I am just missing a component. Haven't had a chance to find one yet.
Oh.
Would anybody here happen to have a pearl? Expensive pearl?
A lot of rubies, but no pearl.
Maybe we can exchange some of those rubies for pearls when we get to a town that doesn't know about us.
Aziris chuckles a little bit. Next time, then.
So you would say evocation for the stone and I'm not going to continue to look it up. You would make a reasonable guess based upon your awareness that the other two are very likely healing potions.
Oh, okay. I think also if you take a short rest, you can identify something. Is that correct, DM?
I believe so.
Okay, so then you could do that too. You could just take 45 minutes and hang out with it. I will relay the schools of magic and info, but I don't know what the stone does.
Well, these could come in handy then. I know I usually shoot from the back, so if anybody in particular wants these, just let me know.
I almost die every single time, so give one to me.
I was gonna say probably Rice and Anara. That was my guess.
I think maybe Rice should say please. He smiles directly at Rice.
Did you ask those children please before you stole them from their parents?
Of course I didn't.
Please, Ben, can I have that delicious vial?
Yes, I think it's the liquid that's delicious. Just want to make sure. I don't know if me.
Crunch.
But here, you're more than welcome to it.
No, I just eat the whole vial to prove how hard I am.
Hard-headed?
So you get the effects of the healing potion and take 1d4 piercing damage from the glass.
That works.
Beautiful.
So that's a potion of healing, correct?
Yep.
DM. Okay, I'll add that. Thank you.
And I'll hand the other one to Anara.
Okay.
Thank you, Fen.
And this other thing, this looks like some kind of magic thing. Cloud, Aziris, y'all want to carry this? Because, I mean, for me, it just looks like something I'd throw at somebody.
May I see?
Hands it over.
He can't cast Identify, but he is going to look it over and see if he can figure out what it is.
Give me an Arcana check.
Gladly. 5.
Okay. It
Here.
doesn't look familiar to you. You've never used something like this or seen something like this.
Cool, and you said it has like a hole in the middle of it?
Yep.
Cool.
Looks like
He'll
something would fit into.
peek through it just in case, but
Does not go. It does not go all the way through. It would be like
Gotcha.
something would nest into it.
Okay. Cool.
Maybe it's like a really boring magic candle holder.
Aziris was about to hand this over to Cloud to look over, but then after they said that, kind of just like takes it back.
That's fair.
Maybe.
Oh, and then here's some gold too. I think everybody gets another 25. I can't believe I gave everybody 50 gold today. That's more than I'm ever used to seeing.
Fen, what are you gonna do with your newfound riches? I feel like for the way Verona talked about it, you had 2 gold pieces to rub together.
Well, I definitely couldn't rub 50 together. That's for sure. I'm not sure what to do, but who knows? Maybe there'll be something. I don't know. I'll keep it for now until I feel like I really need it.
Well,
Yes, whenever another child bullies you, you can give them some more gold.
Well, it seemed at least we avoided some things that way. But you never know when you're gonna need some help from unexpected quarters.
Fed, now you can afford to have somebody show you around for once.
Well, I don't know if I'd part with my money to do that for myself, but maybe a nice new bow would be nice sometime. But we'll see.
That's true. I'd like there's so many things I would like to get, but right now, and Cloud takes out like the tablets that talk about the deities. I really want to ask if anybody knows anything about any of these gods or anything like that. It would be so helpful.
Which gods were on that tablet?
All the gods on the tablets that Cloud was given include Pelor, Istis, did I say that right? Paladine, god of rulers, Eldath, goddess of peace, Moradin, dwarf god of creation, Shehine, elf goddess of the moon, did I say that right? And Biori, goddess of nature, and Bahamut, dragon god of good.
Does Cloud pronounce Sahanine like that?
I guess, because Cloud doesn't know.
Did you say Moradin?
Yeah. I noticed that, like, Maple, this is the god that was on the papers. That
Yeah, Maple is
read.
just sitting with her eyes very wide. She has spent the past several nights since she learned that new information memorizing, along with Cloud's help, the couple of sentences that were on the note. So she's just kind of staring into the abyss right now. She doesn't even know to ask any questions. She's just trying to remember if that means anything to her, I guess.
Give me.
Another PTSD roll.
Yeah, basically. Give me a. You can make this either a history check or a religion check.
Okay. Well, fun fact about Maple, those are both -1s for her. And that's actually going to be a nat 1 -1. So that
Okay.
means
Nice.
nothing.
Yeah, you are really trying to think about all of this, and it just there's so much confusion about everything that happened before you set out from your village and left as the last one that you just you can't, from what Cloud said, this has to have some resonance, but nothing comes into your mind.
Cool. Maple is sitting in the dark with a blank look on her face, and she can't see anything. So this is a fun moment for her.
Rice, or Aziris, do you have gods that give you powers?
Nothing.
Because I know you can do magic sometimes.
Nothing that is on those tablets now.
Is yours like a mean one?
I've recently found out, yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, the child
too.
kidnapping club used to be a lot cooler.
He turns and looks at Rice with that same smile.
Rice is gonna reach out.
Rice?
Fun? No, not so much lately. Haven't been having a fun go of things. My life is in shambles. What do you think? And he's gonna reach over to Cloud and non-verbally ask for the tablets with his hands.
Sure, Cloud will give it to him.
Okay.
Rice will look over them and look at one particular DM.
Okay. Are you going to ask anything about it, or?
No, I'll ask you in private later.
Okay, that's fine. It is, in fact, the one that you think it is.
Great.
So, Rice, no god from you?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Thank you. And then he returns the tablets after he's done.
Look at that. I'm so proud of you.
He's growing.
Chris,
Yes.
would Finn have any knowledge of Bjorn? I think was the name of the nature god. He wouldn't have in depth, but any at all.
Give me a religion check.
$13.
You have heard the name. You know that some of the clerics that have passed by, some of the clerics that you have known and talked about, have mentioned Biore as this beautiful female goddess, often represented by sort of a green disc kind of symbol, and that even though her presence has always sort of been perceived as being distant, that it's felt in nature. People don't talk about her as being a very interventionist deity. She is not the kind of deity that kind of comes in and announces herself, but kind of that spirit of energy that suffuses through all of nature and imbues particularly nature clerics and druids with a lot of their abilities.
Well, I kind of relay some of that to Cloud. Cloud, the nature goddess. There are many of my people who definitely were practitioners or followed her. My particular tribe didn't have many clerics. We had a lot of druids, and sometimes they would interact with clerics that followed her. But it was definitely a goddess that was followed closely or respected. Maybe not quite like some of the others, but you just feel she's part of nature.
Okay. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And Cloud's like taking like pretty sloppy notes and like about it.
Azirus also is, assuming he is not still completely soaked and can actually get his books out. If that's the case, he's also taking notes.
You have been in this cave long enough that you have managed to wring the worst of the water out of your clothing and hair, though still looking rather matted. Managed to avoid dripping on any of your journals. Are you guys going to take a short rest here? Are you going to take a long rest here? What's your plan?
Considering it was dawn, basically?
Just getting on for it. Yeah, it was about 5 a.m.
I'd say long rest, probably.
Long rest probably be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Been walking for a while.
All right. So
Rice agrees, yeah.
all right. So you'll go ahead, you'll take your long rest here. Are you going to set watches? Are you just going to all crash?
Yes.
Azirus will take first watch.
Okay.
Nara will take first watch as well.
Oh, never mind. You two can take it.
Okay. Azirus and Anara. Second?
Finn
I'm
can
going
take
last.
Finn can take second watch.
Okay. Cloud, you're taking last?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Excuse me.
You're muted, Sarah.
Sorry, I was just thinking to myself. I wasn't actually saying anything. I have a question for you, Chris.
Please.
Were they talking about the stone like out loud? Because like Maple couldn't see it.
Were you guys talking about the stone out loud?
Yeah, I imagine that.
And like how it has a hole in it for a key. Like you said that out loud, those words.
I don't think I said for a key. It just said it had a shaped hole in the middle. I don't know what it's for.
Okay.
It looks like something could belong there, but I'm not sure what it is.
Okay. Maple knows what a key is. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely, Maple knows what a key is.
Cool. All right.
We'll make
Then
that one easy. That's a gimme.
Maple will take watch with Cloud then.
Okay. Mice, you just gonna sleep or you gonna take a watch?
Is there someone with just one person on watch? Fen, right?
Fen.
Yeah, I'll take it with Fen then.
Okay. All right. So you settle in to begin your long rest. Azirus and Anara, is there anything that you need to do on your watch?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Studying my books. Again, just going straight back into that, or at least he's going to start going right back into that deep dive of going between journals, writing stuff down, just nonstop.
Okay.
Nara's
Anara?
going to have her book out as well, but she's actually going to, while she's kind of partially scanning through it, she's actually going to turn to Azirus and say, so all of that talk about gods earlier, before we turned into the night, got me thinking. And I know that you don't want to give name to the one that causes you so much pain, but I had me thinking. I think, well, I don't really know for certain, but just shortly before Rice and I left Istalum, I actually found a book that kind of talked about some of the gods of the drow, of the true elves. And it got me thinking that I don't think Lolth is the right way for me. How did you
Xeris
come?
nods, knowing nothing about Wolf.
And she keeps going. How did you come to realize that what the path that you were on wasn't the right one anymore?
He'll put a little bookmark in his journals, and by that I mean stick one journal in the other journal, one of them having a bookmark in it and closing it. Well,
I'm gonna have to make a wisdom saving throw for that description, just so you know. That just physically pained me. Go on.
you're welcome. It was an act of kindness that did it.
How
That's
so?
underestimating it a little bit, but my party and I had retrieved some sacrifices, as we do, and we were followed, and we were all taken down by this party, but they didn't kill any of us. And once it was very clear that we'd been defeated, and they were there to take back the people we had taken, I'd asked why, because I didn't understand. And they took the time to talk to me and to explain.
I can't say that I've ever experienced that as you've described. But something resonated with me in this book that I was reading, and I just can't put my finger on it, but the path that I was on for the last 27 years just doesn't feel right anymore.
He nods. Well, just like Cloud, I'm also interested in doing research on gods. I'd like to know what I'm getting into before I involve myself with anything this time. So maybe you could join us, do some research.
I would love that.
Okay.
And she goes back to reading in the book.
Your watch proceeds uneventfully beyond that. You turn it over to Rice and Fen. Do either of you have anything to do on your watch?
Bryce is just gonna stare at Fen for a while, like he has something to say, but he says nothing.
Okay.
Ben's just gonna see and just kind of smile. And Rice, I just want to let you know, I do enjoy our little tit for tat that we seem to have from time to time. I'm not sure why, but there's something that just seems to click for me.
Are you asking me out on a date? What's going on here?
Oh, well, I think you're moving the goalposts a little bit farther than I intended, but, you know, there's parts of you that are very confusing in your way of speaking, but there's part of me that thinks I understand some of it, and I'm not here to ask about it. But I just think, yeah, if you have to direct some of your wit at somebody, I enjoy when it's coming my way at times.
Wonderful. I feel so appreciated. Thank you.
It's good. I do appreciate the way you seem to gather so much attention. At times, just accepting so many blows. You do seem to be good at that.
That is indeed my lot in life.
Well, maybe we'll find some other lots for you along the way. But no, I'm not here to ask you out on a date. I'll leave that for whenever Mabel gets Googled out again. But, you know, I just say, I think when you have that bobbed wit, yeah, throw it my way. Some of the others seem a little. It disrupts them, but if you feel the need, fire away.
All right.
And then they just kind of smile, kind of a wry grin, and say, "I'm not gonna bother you. Don't worry."
Okay. Your watch concludes without any difficulty, and you rouse Maple and a happily purring away Cloud.
Oh.
I'm just so much cleaner.
what
And Maple.
would you two like to do on your watch?
Cloud's gonna take out the tablets and like sit down with Maple, probably near the mouth of the cave, and just read aloud to Maple the note again, and then everything that's written on the tablet about Moradin, dwarf god of creation, because of that note that her mom gave her, which said, and I will repeat, my only love, my time has come. I know not if we will meet again. It is my time to seek Moradin's blessing. Protect our dear Eldurar is, I think, how I would pronounce it. Hold safe the key. And Cloud will ask Maple, you don't know who Eldurar is, or what the key is, or who Moradin is, obviously is a god.
Okay, this is why I was asking if Maple knew what a key was. So this might be a stretch, Chris, and tell me if Maple is allowed to have this line of thinking. So Maple will sit at the entrance of the cave. Can she see, since it's
late enough into the day that yes, you can see. The sun is up. It's it's been early afternoon at this point. The rain has cleared.
Okay. As Cloud is reading aloud the note and the information from the tablets, Maple is looking down at her axe. The last sentence of that note, protecting dear Eldurar, hold safe the key. Maple, the only thing she has held in a long time is this axe. And having overheard the conversation about a possible key being needed, Maple is searching her axe for something that might come off that would be a key, or if the actual axe is a key. She's never solved the puzzle before, though, so she's definitely asking Cloud for guidance. So she will say this to them. Cloud, I'm wondering if maybe the last little bit of that note, do you think that could be my axe? And I don't want to wake up Aziris, but what about that stone that had the hole in the middle? Do you think that these two things are connected at all? I mean, I haven't really looked at the axe that closely, but I know that it's really special to me, so maybe it's special enough to do something with that. I'm not really sure.
Well, from what I understand, that keys can be lots of different things, Maple. So your axe could be a key. I don't think that it's possible, but unlikely that it's connected to whatever that magic object is, if it is a key, because keys can be different. But I think that when I met you, you pretty much only had half a shirt and a backpack and papers and an axe. So I feel like the axe is more likely to be a key, potentially, or maybe you were a key?
Maple looks down at herself and freaks out, already missing half of the sleeve. But can you lose pieces of keys? What if that sleeve was really important? I'm not sure what to do here. Should we look at any of this? I mean, and she has confused herself into silence.
Well, just don't get rid of anything that you have. Just keep it, just in case. And
that sounds like the best bet, bud. That sounds like a good idea. Can Maple just give her axe a once over? It doesn't look like it comes apart or anything, right? She's just never examined it.
Sure. So. Go ahead and give me an investigation roll.
Can Maple ask for Cloud's help?
Of
Yes,
course.
Is that
You-
if that's advantage or guidance? I can do
You
both.
you can roll with advantage, and if Cloud wants to cast guidance, they can
I will
cast
cast
guidance
guidance. I'll be
as
like,
well.
Maple, we'll figure this out.
So
I was
Take-
going to tell you not to waste it because that'd be a 4 plus a 1, so that's a 5.
Wait, with advantage?
you rolled a 4 and a 1.
It's actually a 0 because I have -1 to investigation
okay.
again. So
All right. Well, add the D4 to the better roll.
that's a 5.
Okay. So what you can tell in looking at your axe, it's very solid. There is no sense that this thing comes apart or could be disassembled in any way, shape, or form.
Cool.
There is what you've always sort of just felt as like the grip of the axe is, you can tell, carved. And you don't exactly know what it's of.
Okay. Maple shows this to Cloud.
Okay. Cloud, I will go ahead and let you do an investigation roll as well.
Don't hold your breath. My investigation's not that great. Oh god, is it with advantage? Because if it's not, it's terrible.
It is not with advantage.
Yeah, that's a 0. It's a 1 minus 1.
Okay. We definitely chose the right two for this little assignment.
We
So,
the best.
you look at this and go, wow, yeah, that's really amazing carving. This is beautiful. Holy cow.
I
I'm sure
cannot
it totally
stand this
means something,
game.
Maple. I just don't know what the fuck it means. Cloud's just gonna make up something, actually. Just be like, oh yeah, I think it might mean X, Y, or Z.
Sorry.
We spend the rest of our watch talking about the other words like Eldoror and stuff like that, but I'm
Oh,
assuming
yeah.
that
So-
doesn't lead to much.
So nothing in there leads to much. As you read
Alright.
as you read the plate about Moradin, though, you read this story that Moradin, as the god of creation, forged the universe into existence using a anvil and a hammer at what's referred to as the sacred forge, and that it's with these two tools that Moradin crafted all of existence that there is, and all of the world as it's known, and that once the world was created and whole and ready, being a smith, he was well aware that any other being that could possess these tools could remake the world that he had made. As a piece of iron can be hammered into a sword or reforged into a fence post, that with the proper tools and access to the sacred forge, that all of reality could be remade. And his solution to that was to scatter his tools so that they would not be in one place, where he would know where they were if he needed them, but no trespasser, no interloper could just come upon them.
Does it go into detail what his tools were, or no?
There is a sacred hammer and a sacred anvil.
After asking Cloud what the heck an anvil is, Maple will, having felt inspired by this essentially bedtime story, will whittle both of these things.
Oh.
The anvil and the hammer. And she will give the hammer to Cloud.
Okay,
Thanks, Maple.
easily done.
I think they're done. Are we done?
Yeah. I think we're done.
Alrighty, so you wake your friends at the end of your watch. What would you like to do?
DM,
Yes.
from where we are, would Finn have a decent idea how long it is to get? Is it, how do you pronounce the city?
Casina.
Casino, or how far to actually just get into the Commonwealth?
So the Casina is right on the border.
Right.
It is a border city. So the border from the Hobrock into the Commonwealth is right at Casina is right there.
Okay.
It's basically a 300-yard sort of zone of being guarded from the line once you're in. So from this place, you would know from your previous travels, sort of. Go ahead, give me a survival roll to get a better exact idea.
That is a 21.
Okay, so with a 21, you look out of the cave, you get your bearings, you think about all the distance that you've traveled, and you would say that you're a little north of Seva and just about a half a day west of it yet. So based upon that, you know that you have about 2.5 days of travel to get to the outskirts of Casina and into the Commonwealth.
Okay. Finn would like to relay that information that there's about 2.5 days, but also we still got a little ways to go. It's still about 2.5 days to get to that area. And I know we're still traveling at night. I do want to say that I think once we get close to there, we should probably return to traveling at day, because I'm sorry to say this, but looking at the group of us, if we're traveling at night in the Commonwealth, the first thing they might do is shoot at us. So I just want to, we're going to be seen as outsiders. So if we're traveling at weird hours, just so that's a couple days away, but it was something I just wanted to mention.
Well, I mean, also, thanks, bud. I'll actually be able to see, to hit things. Rice won't have to leave me around, and I won't have to rely on the hands of my buds here to make sure I go in the right direction. So that sounds good to me.
Yeah,
We want to maybe stop in Seva and at least get a good night's rest and maybe some good food, or at least restock our supplies.
That's true. They don't hate us yet.
Not yet.
Unless they've already sent word about us. I don't know how fast news like that travels, or if they would.
Regardless, we should be careful. Fen, did you have time to figure out what that other weird magic thing was while you were resting?
Was I able to attune with that, or is that going to take more?
You can, in examining it, you spent time with it. In examining it, you've never dealt with something like this or magic like it before, but you would think that anybody who had a background in the arcane from either wizardry or sorcery might be able to get a sense of what this was pretty readily.
I don't have any idea. That's kind of why I gave it to Xeris. This thing looks like magic, and I can do some things, but not really of this nature.
Okay. Oh, I forgot that Azir said it. Never mind.
I do have a background in both Arcana and Wizardry, if that would help.
Xeris will pull it out and hand it to her.
Go ahead and give me either an Arcana or a History check, Anara.
All right. Definitely going to be Arcana. You just had to give me that little roll. What is it? That is a 13.
You, looking at this, would have every reason to believe that it is 1/2 of a sending stone.
So it looks like this might possibly be at least part of a sending stone. We might have to find the other half for it to actually work, though. And I'm afraid of where it might be.
How do those work? Because if it's one half of a stone that you can send messages with, and we picked it up off of one of the drow, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have to like? Is it like it can pick up our voices like all the time, or like you have to like, I don't know, say a magic word and then use it?
You send
DM?
messages with it, or is it you don't use it with the slang?
No? DM, how exactly do they work?
Anara, you would know from having studied that this essentially is a tool that allows you to cast the sending spell if it is in your hand. You're able to use it once per day to cast sending to whoever has the other half.
Okay. And I relay that to the group and say, I'm very afraid of who might be on the other end of this. So we might want to find that other half before we try it.
I say, fuck it. Why not just send a message and say, hey, I found your friend. They're dead.
I don't know if we need to antagonize them. We still got another 2.5 days. On the why you confuse me sometimes, Rice. On one hand, you're like, we got to get the hell out of here, and then you want to just like go poking at that hornet's nest. I don't know if it's genius or stupidity.
I think he thinks.
Roll
he's
an
fine.
investigation check. No.
Oh, I was gonna do it.
If they're getting ready to head out, Mabel, having had talked to Cloud for a good portion of the night about gods and what it means to like, I think Cloud would have probably told her like why it's important to have a god. And Mabel feels a little bit left out, you know, so she'll go ahead, put an M on the anvil that she made, and she'll find a nice spot outside the cave, like a little ledge, and just kind of say a little something in her head and be like, "Hey, Moradin, you know, if you're out there, bud, I just kind of want to say thanks, you know, for getting us here safe. And I really hope that nothing happens to us on the way to the next town. So, Claude just told me that it might be nice to have a god, so I just thought I would try it out. Okay, thanks." And she'll go back in, having left her small offering.
You finish saying this, and
Oh God.
the hair on the back of your neck sort of stands up in a way that you've never experienced before, and you feel all warm and flush over your entire body, and you just hear very faintly in your head, "Go north."
Mabel says out loud, "Oh, okay, I'll let everybody know. Thanks."
And all of that feeling just sort of slowly melts away from you. And that's where we're going to leave it for this evening. So,
Christ.
Go north, young man.
thank you all for joining us this evening. We appreciate you hanging out. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you for the gift subs. Thank you for the cheers. We will be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. for our next adventure in Umbranthal. And on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, you can join us for Keeps and Conversations with our very own Mirage taking over as host. So, thank you all for your time and spending your evening with us. We love you very much. We'll see you soon. Cheers.
Thank you.